You gonna say anything, Chad?
What's up, Sonny? What's going on? Hey, how's it going? Welcome back to another episode of the Paranormal Chop Shop. My name is Chad Smith, and I'm joined here with my co-host, Sonny Conway. We've got Amanda sitting next to him.
Hi.
There she is.
We've got Brigid over here on the bottom right. She's going to be doing some reading or some astro. This thing's all.
She's not gonna be astral projecting.
She's not. Oh man, that was going to be funny to see on camera.
I got my bed.
And we've got Brian from Pork and Beans over here. He's our guest for today. And we're going to be talking about Bigfoot and Bigfoot Encounters. So what's up, Sonny? How's it going over there? You got your puppy over there today?
Gonna get rid of him right now. He's gonna try to steal the show again.
He's already doing it.
That's
Look at
all
him.
right.
Dude.
Dogs are welcome here.
Yeah.
That's my baby.
Yeah, I just lost my dog a week ago.
Oh, I know. I seen the pictures. I'm sorry, buddy.
Yeah.
Oh, that's rough.
Dog. That's like him. He's my mountain buddy too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have two of them. One of them died about 5 years ago, but they both used to, when, they're little chihuahuas, but when I took them out in the woods, they knew the Sasquatch too, right? They would stop and they'd start barking, but they'd wag their tails like they were friends. Yeah.
Yeah, it's rough.
Animals pick up on that stuff better than we do.
Yeah, you're right. They do.
Yeah.
They're more in tune than we are sometimes.
Yeah.
With their surroundings. Oh, buddy.
Did yours go out hunting, not hunting Bigfoot, but looking for Bigfoot with you, Brian?
Well, I call myself an experiencer. I just go out there and they just connect with me.
Mm-hmm.
That's how it works. But yeah, they were friends with them. Like, they weren't scared of them. Like I said, they would just stop dead on the trail and they'd start barking, like a friendly bark, like low, and then their tails would be wagging and they would know they were around. If I didn't feel them energetically or with my third eye or however different ways that I can sense them, the dogs would let me know they were there. So.
Oh, that's cool. Well, that's cool that
This
it was
little
all
guy-
like a friendly relationship between the two.
Yeah, absolutely. He is so cute. What's his name?
His name's Rocky. Oh, buddy. Yep, that's your name.
Oh, man, I want a doggy kiss so bad.
Yeah, he's wanting to. He's not allowed to. He's not allowed to. That's why he won't do it. He's not
just
allowed
stuck one in there. Didn't he just give you a look on the cheek?
He's a deer hunter.
I like his feet.
Yeah, he's pretty trained. He does what he's told to do.
He's awesome.
Yeah, you got to get down, buddy. I can't hold you the whole show. You want to go get somebody?
Oh man, and we've got Papa Willie in the back. I didn't even realize he was back there. What's up, Papa Willie?
How's that, Chad?
How's it going, buddy? And backstage, we've got Gemma Jade. How's it going, Gemma Jade? Can you hear us?
Gemma.
Hey, Gemma, can you hear me? Gemma, can you hear me?
That's a song, isn't it?
Yeah, I think she's either frozen or we've got a really bad delay.
No, I'm trying to get my microphone. I get confused.
You're
You guys
okay.
hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Can you hear me still? Yeah.
Yep, can still hear you.
Sorry about that. Hi.
Hi, I like that microphone. That's a Shure mic.
Yes, it is. Steve brought it for me. I wanted
are
the
cool.
old-fashioned one.
That's
Yep.
nice.
It's the old-fashioned style.
Feel fancy.
That Steve Stockton is a good guy.
He's a good guy. We gotta
You
keep
don't
him
like
around.
that, but he's a good guy.
He's all right.
He's one of those good guys. So where are we going with this, Sonny? Where do you want to go first?
I don't know. What do you want to do? I think we gotta get Brian some of these pictures that you guys have set up because
Yeah,
I've
Brian
seen
sent
some
us-
of them. Some of them are pretty amazing.
Okay.
Sent us a lot of pictures, but unfortunately they all sent over in weird. I sent them over in a weird order, and we'll have better planning next time. But
Well, we'll try to do the best we can. Yeah, some of them are way more compelling when they're in the right order because you could see actually what I'm talking about. But oh well, it is what it is, right?
technology was not on our side today.
No, I'm easy going. We'll figure it out.
All right. Well, you want to just start with one and See where it goes.
Well,
If
let's
you want
introduce. Did you introduce them and tell them we're the show and?
I'm kind of bad at doing that, but I did say this was Brian from Pork and Beans from the Pork and Beans show.
Brian, you want to tell us a little bit about what you do in your show before we start getting into it?
Well, I have a connection like with a family of Sasquatch. They're like a teacher-student kind of relationship. They do something that's called glyphs. It's kind of like a stick writing, and I can actually read some of it. Some of it is from experience of seeing it all the time. Some of it's like just an instant knowing, and just different ways. But I can actually communicate with them back and forth with this writing. With some of it, I don't know what all of it means, but I know quite a bit of it, and that was how I first got introduced to them. And then they're giving me like downloads of what their message is. Of all one, all connected, that kind of thing. They're very benevolent beings. If you treat them with respect, they're still going to be benevolent, but they may ignore you or pretend to be aggressive or whatever if you're not treating them respectfully, but they're not aggressive or whatever. And so I've had that relationship for about 10 years, and just some wild experiences, just beautiful experiences we can get into. As far as the Pork and Beans show, I started that with Mike Carroll or Frank Oliver Beans, and we just do basically it's a Sasquatch show, but it's we talk about them in a good light. We never talk about any fear kind of based stuff or stuff like that. So always respectful to them, and then we go into different subjects too, because it's really all kind of connected anyway. So, in my opinion.
It's so crazy.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of the stuff is all connected.
Absolutely.
The whole
absolutely.
Aliens and UFOs, and seems like everything. We got Josh Casey backstage too.
Yeah, because I mean, Sasquatch are actually people who have been taken aboard UFOs. Say that Sasquatch, I think, is the 5th or 6th or something most common being that they see on the UFOs.
Oh, okay.
So,
that's so crazy. I had this working theory that Sasquatch might be an interdimensional fae, like a fairy creature.
Well, they're interdimensional.
I mean, I'm very new. I think Sasquatch is the only like cryptids, aside from like one Glimmerman encounter, is all that I haven't experienced in my life. So it's like so interesting to me to hear, because it's like the only thing I haven't had an experience with, and the fact that you communicate with them is amazing. Like that's so awesome.
So who have you communicated with?
I'm sorry. Was that for
who have you communicated with? What beings have you communicated with?
Oh, I've had a lot of experiences with like spirit. Mainly lately, I have a lot of repressed extraterrestrial memories coming up of like healings when I was little, angels, my guides, things like that. Mostly paranormal and supernatural. So cryptid is really new to me. I did see a glimmer man trying to lure my son into the woods. Luckily, I knew what it was from writing for MPNM and my experiences there. But I mean, I think if I didn't know what it was, Missing Persons and Mysteries probably be talking about me today, because this thing was luring my child, and that got me interested in the cryptids. And now, a lot of my friends, a lot of you guys, talk a lot about Sasquatch and Bigfoot. So I've been doing some research, but it's just fascinating to me. I had no idea that they were communicative, or to me, they're absolutely terrifying.
No, they're not actually. Well, it depends on how you look at it, right? But they don't want to work with people if you are in fear. They'll only take it so far. You can't be in fear when you're working with them. So, and actually, you were talking about healings and stuff. They actually do healings.
The Sasquatch?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Wow. I've witnessed it firsthand. Actually, they've been teaching me to do healing. That's probably one of the reasons why they're connecting with me. And my wife was camping with a guy who's been in the Sasquatch field for years, like 50 years, and they they did open heart surgery on him, like when he was in the tent. I'm not going to say like, his heart was open or whatever, but energy. It was an energy healing, and it was amazing, actually. And my wife actually heard the vibration and the noise going on while it was happening. So
I think that's what the extraterrestrials did to me when I was little.
Yeah. Well, they did do the same kind of thing. Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
Hey, Gemma?
Yeah.
You guys hear me fine?
Yeah, Josh, we can hear you. What's up, buddy?
It's nice to meet you, Gemma.
Hi,
what exactly was the cryptid that you said you saw?
The Glimmerman, or some people call it the predator entity, that translucent humanoid being that I think there's, a government one, an extraterrestrial one, and then there's one that's been doing healings, which is weird, but the Glimmerman, I don't know if you've heard of it, but it was, it's in the shape of kind of a human. To me, it looked a little praying mantis-y, and I think they're responsible for a lot of the missing in the woods.
Huh.
Yeah, that one's new to me. I thought you said Slender Man.
You said some of them do healings, because I have seen the Sasquatch in many different forms. One of them is kind of like the predator form, where they're almost transparent, but there's a watery kind of shimmery thing. You can sort of see them.
That's fascinating.
Oh, Gemma.
Hey, Chad, you remember? Sorry.
Gemma, your mic got unplugged, or it's muted or something. It doesn't say it's muted, but
it mutes by itself.
Oh, okay.
Spirit.
The spirit.
Hey, you're already advertising your show there, Josh. Trippy Times.
Oh, I just got the name. Do what?
Trippy Times. That's going to be your new podcast, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah. Chad and Sonny are going to be helping me out, and I'm going to help them out in return. We're all like a family.
Big
I hope to have you on there sometime. Yeah, you and Mr. Beans. He's pretty awesome guy that on there with Brian all the time. I was gonna say, Chad, do you remember excuse me, whenever we had Preston Dennett on, he said something about Sasquatch being seen on Craft a lot. And I just remember Brian's had Preston Dennett on his show as well.
Who had Preston Dennett on?
We did.
Brian.
Oh, cool.
Pork and Bean Show did, yeah.
Oh, wow. I need to go back and listen to that one. I didn't know he was on with you guys.
Yeah, we've got we pretty well have 100 shows, and most of our shows go 3, sometimes 4 hours long.
Awesome. Yeah, these ones, we've been having some pretty long conversations too. It's like once you get into it, you can't, it's hard to stop. Once people start spilling out information and coming together with it.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have any set time, right? Whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Goes till whenever.
Yeah,
that's good. That's how the best conversations go, when you don't have an end date or an end time.
Yeah, and I'm a pretty good. Some people say they got to go in an hour and a half, and then 3 hours comes up, and then we're still going.
Yeah,
that happens to me all the time. I'm like, I can only come on for 45 minutes, and then 4 hours later, I'm like, oh, oops.
The sun's down. What happened?
That's so fascinating to me what you just said, though. I'm kind of rocked by it, because I've been getting all of these new, Grey Wolf said, I've only heard Glimmermen as being evil. I've been getting all of these new experiences from some of my subscribers and just people writing in saying that, they've been out in the woods, or even in the backyards of their house, where I live, there's woods, there's nature, no build land. And, they'd be standing there and they're sick. They either have, I think it was one person had cancer, one person had a brain tumor, and the other person was just having severe migraines. One of them, the being walked right through their patio door and didn't touch them. But, when you do energy healings, you get really close to touching. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that, but when you heal energetically, or at least when I do, or when I've seen it done, you get super close to touching, but not actually. And this being is doing that and healing these people. So that's why I have the theory there's 3 different kinds. There's the extraterrestrial. I think there's some kind of government thing going on. And then I think that there's a new kind, which you just completely opened my eyes to a whole new world. I'm an obsessive compulsive researcher, so that's definitely on my list now. That this could possibly be Sasquatch.
I mean, there's 2 things that ring a bell with what you said, because I've seen them in that predator state. Am I feedbacking again, or are we okay?
I'd have to mute individually and find out who's doing that, but you can keep talking. I'll try to figure it out.
Because I've seen them in that predator state, I back my mic up a little bit, and I know, and they do healing 100%. So, you know, that'll open your eyes to that, I suppose.
Gemma's gonna be researching that for the next 5 days.
Of the next 5 years? Are you kidding me?
5 years.
That might be me. I don't usually use my microphone, so could very well be me.
I don't think so. We were having issues before you came in, so it's.
But man, that's on my list. I just did something on alien hybrids I've been working on for like 10 years. Yeah. I finally just decided to put it out because I have these repressed memories coming up, and you know, I'm kind of a hermit anyway, so it's like what I do.
I think I've seen them in maybe like a dozen different states. Like they can travel around in orb form.
Wow.
You know, they can be completely invisible and then become completely like 2 times I've been walking along a path with my eyes straight ahead, and you know the path is maybe 8 feet wide or something, and for the first 6 feet you don't see anything, and then all of a sudden they fully materialize. So they can just fully materialize out of thin air. I've seen them, like I said, in the predator form, orb form, partially cloaked where you can kind of see them, but you can't see the colors and stuff. It's just like a bunch of different ways.
That's what the Glimmerman thing is. My first thought, when I did that video, it's so funny. I'd only been on YouTube for like 3 months. I had like 10 subscribers. So I was like really nervous. But I was saying the first thing I thought was tech, or like it reminded me of like the Harry Potter movies, because I'm also a dork. And it reminded me of like, the invisibility cloak, you know, where you can see that there's something under something else. Do you know what I mean? Like something cloaked.
Yeah.
I've just never gotten into the cryptids. I've just, you know, until, like I said, recently, my friends are, you know, talk about it. And I'm just like, wow, how come that's something I've never, I've met the devil 3 times and I haven't experienced a Sasquatch, you know. I don't spend a lot of time in the woods. It could be why.
Well, I'm in there every day, so that might, well, but you know, but the other thing is that they connect with the people that they want to connect with, that they can teach or whatever, or just, you know, and I mean, I don't want to get too far. Well, I just say it as it is. I mean, some people have had past lives as Sasquatch and stuff. So it's, you know, time and stuff like that doesn't exist for them.
Wow.
You know, like, so they will know if you've been one of their people or whatever in a past life or something like that. Or if they feel, or just simply if they feel that they can teach you, you know, if you've got an open heart kind of thing. You know,
wow,
and respect them and stuff. Yeah, but I mean, time does not actually exist for them. They will know what you're going to do before you do it. I mean, with some of my glyphs, it's an agreement between me and them. Like people ask me, well, what do these glyphs mean? Well, I can't tell you what they mean, because if they're connecting with you in that language, with a stick language, it's going to be between you and them. Whatever you agree that it means, and you just have to put your intent out there. That is what it will mean. And I know that sounds stupid, but it's really not, because, well, you'll see some of the pictures, but they will know. They've proven to me that they already knew even before I came up with the meaning. Like the Y stick, for instance, means man, Sasquatch connected, like the 2 prongs, man, Sasquatch, and the stem connected. And once I came up with that meaning for it, I was looking back on my pictures like 5-6 years prior, and they already knew. 100%. There's just not even any question.
I don't think that sounds stupid at all. I stopped doing true crime. I started off as a true crime channel, and I did a few cases, and the spirits would come and visit me. And, you know, some of the time the parents didn't know that the child was deceased. And, you know, there are certain pacts and certain bonds that you make with, I guess, any other entity, you know, because I had to make, you know, I'm not going to make this public until it's publicly made, you know, and that's why I got out of true crime. I was tired of being visited by, you know, and having to go along with these agreements. And then what do? You can't reach out at that point anyway. But I do understand what you're saying. And I definitely believe you on that, because I've been through it with my own paranormal entities that I've dealt with.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
And, you know, like my pictures, you can actually see what I'm talking about. So that's kind of why it's a really good, you know, it adds validity to what I'm talking about. But still, as you know, all of you guys know that a lot of this stuff is so out there, whatever, that it's just a knowing. you know it for sure, but you know, it's kind of like, you know, like love, for instance. We know it exists, and we know it's, you know, we know it's true and whatever, but how do you prove it? You know, like, you know what I'm saying? It's the same kind of thing.
Yeah.
So,
Consciousness.
you know.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you better, Josh.
Yep.
Jim, I wanted to say, earlier you were talking about Sasquatch being kind of like a nature, a sprite, I think is what you said.
A fairy, yeah, a fae.
I feel like I bring them up too many times, but you guys know, I know the Bledsoe family personally. And I was just talking to Brian about this earlier today. Actually, on Ryan on the Bledsoe Said So podcast just said this on one of his recent episodes, that he had like a remote viewing type dream experience, and something to do with he said he thinks it was in the past, but the Sasquatch was actually on another planet. I know, as bizarre as that sounds, and that their race was I guess wiped out. I don't know if it was by them or by somebody else, but it was like a mass extinction, and it was so much of a shock that some other entity or something kind of gave them like a spiritual rehabilitation type thing, and part of that is to be like a nature spirit or something like that, and they can walk back and forth in between realities. I know that sounds really crazy, but yeah,
none of this sounds crazy to me.
They definitely watch over the forest and nature and whatever. They're protectors of that. Yeah, that part's absolutely true, and they are interdimensional.
I was just going to say, I always thought interdimensional, even before I knew you talk to anybody about them, only because, you know, how are they, you see them and then you go to grab your phone, or people go to grab their phone and they're gone. I mean, I know from dealing with the Fae, you know, all my experiences with them, it's the same thing. That's kind of, I think, why my mind connected that. But I always knew definitely they were interdimensional, because you don't go that fast. It doesn't matter who or what you are. If you're not, you know, tripping dimensions or moving through dimensions, you're going to leave some trace behind. You're going to be seen where you're going. It's not just you blink and they're gone. So none of this sounds crazy to me. Trust me. I can't even walk into a grocery store. Sometimes I have panic attacks. There's so many dead around.
Well, if they weren't interdimensional, you know, how could they not be seen and whatever more often? They have, if they're real, they have to be, right?
Yeah, or they would have found a carcass. They would have found a dead one by now or something. I thought the same exact thing. And I mean, like, I say it sounds crazy. To me, it doesn't sound crazy anymore at all either, because I've seen orbs phase in from nothing. You know, they're there or dematerialize. So that sounds a lot more logical to me, that they would operate that kind of way. You know. I completely agree.
Hey, Brian,
like I had one. I mean, this is some of their capabilities. I was just laying in bed, and I definitely wasn't asleep. I just laid down, and all of a sudden I saw a big puff of smoke appear in my room. Big cloud of like a white billowy cloud of smoke, and my clan leader, Re, his image became very, very clear inside of that smoke, and I seen his huge head. It looked life size, and his shoulders, and he just looked at me for, I don't know, 5-10 seconds or something, and then just dissipated.
That's wild.
So you know, that's a very evolved being, right?
Oh, absolutely.
That's not a monkey running around in the woods.
No, that's not anything brand new, you know?
No. Can I tell you another story that's, I mean, because, you know, this started in 2012, but I've always kind of been open-minded, and I guess I think we're always brought here for a specific reason anyway. You know, if we're doing light work or whatever you want to call it, or stuff like that, there's a reason why we have these experiences and whatever, right? So I've also got a really close relationship with my wife, obviously, especially if she's listening. But you know, we called ourselves like twin flames or whatever. And I mean, you know, there's a lot of catchphrases and words thrown out there, but we definitely had like a wow, like connection, right? Like, you know, like just, I would say, you know, if the twin flame term is real, we would be. But so I'm just sitting on the John of all places, okay? And I'm just not, you know, just not thinking about anything in particular. And all of a sudden, you know, do you remember Michael Jackson when after he passed, they did that hologram thing with him or whatever?
Yeah.
On stage?
Yeah, they did it with Tupac, I remember.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Tupac would be a good example too. But you know what I mean, right? Where it was like full color and it was like you could see the beam, but it was obviously a hologram, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So I'm just sitting there, and all of a sudden I seen like two twin flames, the classic image of them facing each other, man and woman, and I just had that knowing. Because a lot of the stuff that happens with me, there's just you just have a knowing. You know what it is. There's no facts and no explanation. It's just immediately, right? So we were facing each other. This is a hologram right in front of me, like playing out live. And there's a figure eight swirling around us. It's wide, and it comes in and in and in as it's swirling, and then it just became part of us and whatever. So there's more than just Sasquatch going on with me, but that was
the Infinity.
Yeah, the Infinity. Yeah, the Infinity 8. It was coming in, and it just joined into us. Another time this is really weird. This is Sasquatch though. I was laying in bed, and all of a sudden I seen a movie reel playing at the foot of my bed and maybe 6 feet up in the air, just at the foot of my bed and up in the air. And it was, the old reel-to-reel films with the perforated edges and whatever, each slide that they play in the old, I don't know if they do that in the movie theaters now, but they used to, the big reel-to-reel stuff. And you can see each slide, you know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Yeah.
Just even, like I said, perforated edges or whatever. I actually seen that playing. Was just laying there, and I saw it playing, and it was a Sasquatch walking across from left to right. The backdrop was like a forest kind of thing, and it just it was almost like the Patterson film. It just walked across in the film and looked at me, and then it was gone. But weird, because like it wasn't just a vision of seeing a Sasquatch or whatever. It was actually like a movie reel. It was like, okay, that's a little weird.
Brian, what's your astrological sign?
Libra.
You have the same thing Chad has, where your aura has like the gold, which I associate with anointed. I'm very surprised Chad hasn't had a lot of experiences like this too, but it's very interesting.
We are the anointed ones, Chad.
You really are. I see people.
That's what she says.
Here and there with that gold around it, and I associate that. That's the color for me for anointed, and the knowing. That knowing, like I said in the chat, is why I never told anyone about all the things I see and hear and can do my entire life until I met, my subscribers on YouTube that were like, that's not crazy. That's awesome. And I was like, oh my God, I can breathe again. But yeah, you have the same thing Chad has. You have the gold around many different colors.
Just to feed Chad's ego.
Jim, I've been telling Chad, I think he might be a God, my mind went blank. A starseed. I'm sure you're familiar with that.
I think Earth Angel, yeah. It's almost the same thing. Just Earth Angels have a little bit more of missions. Like I'm an Earth Angel, I'm a listener. And we have a little bit harder lives. But Josh, I definitely agree. Whether it's starseed or Earth Angel, I told him I'm gonna get to the bottom of it. Chad, I will figure this out for you.
Well, I mean, Chad's doing this show, right? That's not a coincidence. I don't believe in coincidences. So
I don't either.
He's doing this show, so he's whatever he's supposed to be doing, he is following it through.
Not just that,
agree.
But he's passionate about it too. He said he feels like he has a drive to do it. That's what made me say that to him. Not to feed Chad's ego anymore.
What is it, Chad's ego? I did an interview on Space Out Radio, and everyone was coming in saying, I am Chad Smith. Chad Smith is life. And it just went on, and I'm like, who's Chad Smith? Like, I don't know what is going on here. Someone else was like, I'm going to be Chad Smith for Halloween. And I'm just like, wait, what? And then I saw, I'm like, oh, that's Chad Smith. And then I saw the aura. And the star seeds, the Earth Angels, Indigo Children, I think there's something big coming. The veil is thinning. Very much so. And it's just really interesting to watch. I had a breakdown in Spirit Halloween right around Halloween. I was waiting for Steve to get back to me about something with my costume. And I put up blocks so like I can feel people's energy, and sometimes I'll hear something. But this was like, I was literally curled up in the corner with my hands in my ears and my head down. And my son came in and he's like, Mommy's playing hide and seek, but really I was just getting too much information. I don't know. And that's happened to me a few times before, but it's been happening a lot lately. And I feel like there's just some kind of shift, like there's something going on, you know, with whether it be Sasquatch or I don't know. I'm just very interested to go and look up and start researching more about Sasquatch now. This is amazing.
I think the conscious shift or whatever people talk about, you know, like that we're going through, it's about, well, the Sasquatch are on that vibration of love, no judgment, no fear. And when you have no fear, that is so empowering. You know, they taught me that. And it's just like, they talk about all one and all connected. And, you know, the whole world is, as soon as we're born, we're brought into judgment, you know, like our parents teach us, we don't like this, we don't like that, don't hang out with these people,
Right.
we don't like that religion. All that stuff is taking you further away from our true self. And when, you know, the Sasquatch have taught me that's all bullshit, you know, it's all crap. You know, we are all connected. There's all these differences are just man-made and, you know, designed to keep us from knowing who we really are and our true power or whatever. So
I totally agree. My first YouTube video was me almost in tears, just like looking for connection, like just being so lonely. That was like 16 months ago. And now I've met so many people, like so many like-minded, like I know for a fact that little 2.5-minute video I did that day absolutely changed my life. It made me feel free and strong and empowered. And it let me know that like, I'm not alone with the things that I see and the things that I know and the things that I hear, and just getting so much more information, meeting people like you guys who know so much about so many different things that I can explore and get to know as well. It's awesome. It's so awesome. And it's everything so connected. There are no coincidences. I think all of us were meant to be sitting right here, right now, just like you were meant to have your conversations with Sasquatch, and I see spirit everywhere. And, you know, Chad so far, I think, isn't an experiencer, but that's probably going to change because the more you look into it, the more you hang out with people like us, especially me. I have a habit of people experience things after they hang out with me. But just all of us, I think the more you're looking for it, the more you're going to see it. I think that just makes sense. It's nothing really magical. It's just what happens.
The Sasquatch have me connecting with people all the time. Like they just guide me to people, and I start talking about Sasquatch. All of a sudden they say, damn, man, I've always wanted to meet one. I'm really interested in them. Yep. It's not a coincidence. And then all of a sudden I take the guy out in the woods and we start having experiences, and it's just a beautiful thing how it, you know, it's like they orchestrate it, you know, like bringing us together.
Absolutely.
Well, Brian, that's like last, what was it, Sunday, Chad? Or it's Chad's idea just to do like a random spur of the moment podcast. And I happened to message you to see if you were available like 10 minutes prior. And we ended up talking for like, what, 2 or 3 hours?
Yeah, it was like a 3-hour podcast, and it was planned within a half hour. It wasn't too bad.
Yeah. I just scrambled to get some pictures together or whatever.
And then I totally forgot that you were going to be on this weekend too, and I was like, oh man, I hope he's got enough pictures to share. And then Sonny was like, I think he's got thousands of pictures.
I got lots of pictures. Well, I mean, the thing is with Sasquatch is they don't, like, I've never purposely, like the glyphs and that kind of stuff, that's a teaching tool. So they encourage me. Boy, I'm getting hit up with energy. When I talk, that's one thing they do with me, is when I'm talking about them and truth and whatever, I just get zonked with this, like, knowing that we like that. We like what you're talking about.
That's cool.
Or we like this person, or, you know, talk to this, whatever, that kind of thing. But, but so they, you know, they encourage me to take pictures and stuff, but I've never purposely tried to take a picture of them. But what I have done is I said, look, I'm taking pictures. If you want to show up, you're perfectly welcome to. And you know, as you can see in some of my pictures we looked at last, sometimes they do, right?
Yeah,
it's
Brian.
Respect, right? It's respect, you know.
When you get that feeling, do you ever get an opposite feeling? Like, do you ever get into a situation where you might be in danger or something, and you get a feeling like, oh, I might be in danger right now. They're letting me know that I'm in danger.
Very seldom. There's maybe even once or twice when I went in there and I've had the feeling like there's nothing for you here today, you can go home or whatever. That's only happened a couple times. Very seldom. It's usually always positive, and it's not negative when I felt that, you know.
Right. It's just we're not up for hanging out today type of feeling.
Yeah, just once or twice, but generally it's like like literally every pork and beans show that I do, because we're always talking truth, and we're talking about Sasquatch in a different way than most people talk about them. Like, we don't give a crap about, like length of their stride, or how tall they are, or their scat, or like any of, who cares?
Yeah, you're not trying to prove that they're there. You're just trying to hang out with them and have a good relationship.
And I love that.
And we're talking about their truth and what their message and everything is. And so I get hit up with every show. I get hit up with energy at one point or another. And this podcast, I've had it a few times already.
That's awesome.
It's so crazy. When I do my readings on Wednesday night, you can ask the people in the chat, but by the end of it, my ears are bright red and my face gets bright. I mean, that's what happens to me when I get hit with the energy. My ears turn like beet red. I can't control it. I know exactly what you're talking about. That's like the tell for me.
Yeah. And it's funny because I don't do a lot of, I'm not illiterate. I can read and whatever. I don't do a lot of research on this stuff. It's just like they just give me the instant knowing, and I get a lot of downloads, and then it's just like I just have a knowing, and I don't know why I have it, but I do, right? Like, I remember one time walking through the woods, and this big download of energy came streaming in through the top of my head, and I could just like feel it and whatever. And it was just like, maybe, it could be like it's put in a light or something, or for future use or whatever. Sometimes you don't know sometimes you do know something big right off the bat, but sometimes it's just like for when you need it kind of thing. Make sense?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
I've experienced the download thing, and early on I used to doubt it, and I've had a few lately that something happened afterwards that, like what you were saying, you don't believe in coincidences,
No.
Maybe like the minor ones, but whenever they're big ones that stack on top of each other, that's when I know there's no possible way it could be a coincidence.
And there's different ways. Are you still going?
No, I was sorry, go ahead. I was going to ask you something, but I totally blanked out.
Go ahead.
No, I'm trying to remember. Go ahead. It'll come back to me.
Hey, Brian, I did have one.
There's different kinds of mind speak too. Like, it's not always just they talk to you in your head. Like, I've had that, but sometimes it's just like a thought placement or whatever. I can't remember how many times I've gone out. This happens all the time. I'm out there and I'm thinking, geez, I wonder if it's like this. And then I look down and there's the answer right at my feet, or in some way. It's just like thought, answer. Sometimes there's delay. Sometimes it's a few days, but yeah, that's incredible too.
Brian, I do remember what I was going to ask you. You said that there's been days that you go out there and you don't experience anything, and you kind of just get that knowing that nothing's going to happen. Do you feel afterwards like there was a reason that you weren't supposed to experience anything that day?
Like, I think sometimes they got family stuff going on, because they got families and things too, and they just don't want to be bothered that day, right?
Yeah, I was going to ask, like, maybe if it was, you needed time to reflect yourself or something like that,
Well, that's an interesting point, though, when you say that, because maybe it's not directly an answer to your question, but I've had like maybe 5 or 6 periods where there's kind of a lull in activity. I still sometimes feel them or whatever, but there's not a whole lot going on. Yeah. And that to me is a simulation period, because every time I've come out of one of those, it's just like I have a way broader knowing and understanding or whatever. And then things really pick up, and then go on from there.
No, that answers exactly what I was going to say. Can you guys hear me? Am I echoing bad or anything?
A little bit.
I think it's just because we have so many people in here. It's kind of having a hard time with the echoing, but yeah, we can hear you just fine, Josh, when you talk.
You're not bad.
I'm not coming in muffled or anything.
No, better than before, actually.
Okay.
Hey, Brian, I gotta get to this question because Doris asked it like a half hour ago, but Doris was wanting to know if Bigfoot have their own vocabulary.
Yeah, I've heard them talk. I've heard them physically speak. Do you want to hear what they sound like?
Absolutely.
What I've heard?
Yeah.
This was an amazing day, man. Like, I call this day Super Tuesday. This is the first day I heard them talk. It was just like everything was happening. I also heard, you ever heard those, the Sierra sounds and stuff like that?
Yeah.
They recorded?
Yeah.
It sounds like. and it sounds like there's wind and all kinds of weird stuff in the
You
background.
sound just like it. Oh my god, I got the chill.
I've heard that. I heard that the same day. There were two calling each other. I'm getting chills too. There were two calling each other from up in the mountains, whatever. Plus, we had a bunch of other stuff happen. But we heard that just prior to this. And then my First Nations friend and myself were walking along. And all of a sudden, we heard something up to our left, up the slope. And it was two Sasquatch talking back and forth. And it went on for about, I think it seemed like 10 minutes. And, the funny thing is that sometimes when you have the interaction with them, it feels like you're actually in another dimension or you're kind of meeting them halfway or something. It's just like it feels supernatural and weird. And so I always document everything with my camera and stuff, just because, the reasons I told you. But it took me until the next day to realize, wait a minute, I just heard them talking for 10 minutes and I didn't pull my camera out. I was just like the whole time, like, what? And they sounded like, sort of like that. Like,
wow, that's awesome.
Like, have you heard Ron Moorhead stuff?
Nope,
This
I haven't.
sounds to me like cavemen.
I haven't heard that guy's name before, but the Sierra sounds I've heard, and you sounded just like it.
Well, that's the guy who did the Sierra sounds.
Okay.
Yeah, he calls it samurai chatter and stuff, right?
Yep, the samurai chatter. Yeah, I've heard that before.
Mine sounded a little slower and a little more advanced or something than some of the stuff I heard him do, but it's the same thing. But yeah, that's what they sound like.
Huh.
What did you say it was called? Sierra?
Caveman sounds, but
Sierra
like they're so far ahead of us, in so many ways. That kind of like a paradigm thing.
That's pretty interesting.
I didn't want to interrupt you, but I put in the chat, I don't want to interrupt, but I definitely want to know when this all started and how for you, unless, you've already told that, but I'm just interested. Like, I'm an experiencer since, I guess, birth. I remember at 4 it's starting. So, is that what it was like for you? Or did this start in your adult life as something you just came across?
Well, I think, like I always knew that, like, when I was even a little kid, I thought, what am I doing here? Like, I don't think like these people. I don't belong here, kind of thing, right?
That other.
But, yeah, I always had that going, and I always thought like different than people or whatever. Like I couldn't understand some of the things they were doing, and I really can't understand today. But
Same.
the first real wild thing that I can think of is when I was 19, and I'll get into when I was introduced to the Sasquatch too. But when I was 19, I was. Seems like when I'm lying in bed, a lot of that stuff happens. But I was doing some I was coming back from Ontario to join a rock and roll band with my friend. And so I'm sleeping in his basement on a mattress, and I'm just laying there. And once again, not just laid down. This is not like a dream. I wasn't asleep. I wasn't near asleep. I was just laying there. And at the foot of my bed, I saw this glimmering outline of a humanoid figure standing at the foot of my bed looking at me, and it looked like like a crime scene chalk line.
Yes.
There was no substance to it. It was all like nothing in the middle, but it was like the outline, but it was like glowing like fluorescent lights.
Wow.
Okay. And it was just standing there looking at me. And then after a bit, I looked to my left, and it was on its hands and knees looking at me. Now, you would think that would freak somebody out, right?
That's pretty creepy.
Well, yeah, and it's not because I'm extremely brave or whatever, but I think there's some kind of knowing or connection or just under the subconscious.
Yeah.
So I remember I just thought, wow, that was neat. Didn't freak me out at all. And because like I said, I think it was just that knowing or that connection or with that being or whatever was just, buried just under the consciousness, I suppose. And
Ryan, can I ask you something about that real quick?
Yep.
I've heard you mention kind of like a download, but like an emotional download. Do you think that in those states where most people would be, full of fear, that they could maybe give you kind of like a good vibe to stop you from being afraid?
The Sasquatch?
Yeah, or like especially early on like that, or because I mean I've heard about people, stories about abductees, and it's like they're on a ship or something, they're completely calm, and I don't know, it was just thought that went through
I
my
know
head.
exactly what you're talking about. Actually, it happened with a friend of mine that once again I got connected in with him, and I said, go out here and spend the night. These guys want to connect with you. And actually, I introduced him to them. I took him in a place where we had an interaction with a family before. This was a different family, but probably the same clan as mine. And it was wild when my friend and I went out there, because we could hear them and we could sense them. We could feel them all around us. At one point, this one individual walked right inside of me. And it felt like a light switch went on. I don't know why but I don't know what that means, but it felt like a light switch went on. But anyway, we had like amazing interaction with him that day. And so I took my other friend out short time later, and I told him, I said, hey, stay back a little bit and I'll walk up and I'll introduce you, because, respect, courtesy. You just don't bring somebody to somebody's house without telling them you're going to, or introducing them first, right?
That's
So I
true.
said, stay back here and I'll introduce you to them. And so while I'm introducing them and saying, this is Randy and he's a good guy and whatever, I was getting like just hit up with energy like crazy, right? I remember all my arms were like tingling with energy. So he went out a couple of weeks later and he camped out all by himself, and he's afraid of the dark and whatever too. It was a big test of courage for him. And he's out there and he hears two Sasquatch talking back and forth while he's in the tent. And he got really freaked out, like he was really scared. And they sent him an energy, a loving, calming energy that took the fear away. And and that's very common. That's happened with a lot of people. Actually, they can take the fear away from you, just send you some kind of energy or whatever, and it just you're just not scared anymore. And so they did that to him. And then actually later in the night, there were some owls that came right around and right in front, right on top of his tent, and one of them was not talking like an owl. And so, because they can shapeshift and whatever into different birds and animals too, and I got lots of actually stories about that. But they can take the fear away. Yeah.
I've actually come across some research lately. I'm just looking into things to cover for the SOR After Hours show. And the one thing I thought was really interesting, because my spirit animal is an owl, and I see them around by my house all the time, but I came across something that was actually talking about how a lot of abductees who are now coming forward, who have been abducted in the past or like in recent years, that they're seeing these giant owls morph into these small grays or even the tall grays. So I thought the fact you just mentioned owls, I mean, it's got to be all connected somehow in a way that, I mean, I can't even pretend to have a clue. But I mean, it's just everything you're saying is connecting. What you said about Sasquatch connected with the Fae for me, and what you just said about, the owls connected with the extraterrestrials. And oh my gosh, it's just these connection that my brain wants to make so bad, but I'm just not like, it's like on the tip of my brain, but it's like not, I think it's just so massive, and I think that's why, if you think about it, all of us brought together, like me meeting you, Brian. Do you know what I mean? You have this part of it and I have this part of it, and who's going to have the next part of it, and who are we going to meet next? Do you know what I mean?
Chad will have the next part of it.
Chad's gonna have the next experience if he hasn't already had one.
Can I tell you guys? I have a friend who, I mean, I've known him forever, and he does not believe in any of this. He supports me, comes into my streams, but he always, mocks me, like joking around. Never had any experiences. We didn't talk for like 10 years because I like moved and stuff. He's recently back in my life, and I've been talking to him pretty much every day. Suddenly, he thinks he might have been abducted. And this is a man who does not believe in extraterrestrials. He said that he was drinking out at a bar. He had a few drinks and he went back to his apartment. And all of a sudden, out of the clear blue sky, it was like 11 something at night. And he said he just felt this overwhelming peace and clarity. And somehow he knew Everything that had happened to him, why he was struggling, just made perfect sense. He was at peace. He walked outside to have a cigarette, and the next thing he knows, he woke up the next day. 2 nights later, he started seeing shadow people, and the other night, the smoke alarms 2 nights in a row were going off, but there was no smoke, and the alarms weren't actually going off. He was just hearing them go off, and he wasn't sleeping. So I do think, Chad, in that vein, you're gonna be messaging me like, "Oh my God,
I won't believe what I just saw.
I got one.
It finally happened.
It'll be beautiful, man.
Yeah, I've been telling Chad to follow the synchronicities. I had somebody tell me that earlier this year, and whenever I did, the synchronicities got more intense, and so did my experiences. Real quick, well, first off, I want to say I don't know how I feel about the shadow people. I've only really seen that once that I'm for sure of, and I'm not gonna lie, it kind of scared the shit out of me. I like the orbs now. I love that, actually. It gives me like a euphoria. But what you guys were saying earlier about the owls, I've seen in the past few months, I saw 2 owls like a couple weeks apart from each other, and one of them was solid white. And I've never seen a white owl in my life anywhere around here. So yeah, I just learned about the whole owl connection thing too, and it's pretty weird, to be honest. I need to dig more into it, really.
100% the Sasquatch can see through the eyes of these animals, or they can shapeshift into them, or well, actually both. But you know, when getting to some of the pictures, fortunately they're not in sequence, but we'll do our best. But there's a few pictures that I can talk about where there was you know, animals and Sasquatch like working in conjunction with each other, kind of thing. And
hey,
by the way,
Brian,
Mr. Beans says I look really professional. Thank you, Mr. Beans.
was Mr. Beans watching?
Yeah, of course, man. He's my compatriot.
Yeah, what's up, Mr. Beans? You two are hilarious together, man. That 3 hours flew by. I was going to ask before we start with the pictures. Didn't you say that you had a UFO and a Sasquatch sighting together once?
And a spirit animal all at once.
Wow, can we hear about that?
Okay, so we're my friend and I. It's funny because this fellow, he was kind of like the guy. Oh, you wanted to hear how I got introduced to Sasquatch, right? Didn't you? I never did.
Oh yeah. I mean,
I think we were all waiting for that, but I have so many questions. So
okay, well, anyway, I was walking. I was walking along the dikes, which is a waterway, and with my 2 little Chihuahua dogs, the one who just recently passed away, and the lady who passed away a few years before him. And I'm just walking along, and all of a sudden, I look up at the mountains to my right, and I heard a voice that go to the mountains. So I was worked graveyard. I worked graveyard at a job, and you know, like luckily I could go on the internet. I was just like a security. It was like a job after I retired from my regular job, but I could go on the internet all night, and they were really good. They didn't care, you know, as long as did my few things I had to do. So I was constantly looking up Sasquatch and stuff. So shortly after this, I'm there, and I'm on this site Bobby Short had called Bigfoot Encounters, I think. And I noticed there was a guy who lived right in where I live, like in the same town. And him and his son had found Sasquatch footprints and stuff right, you know, a few miles from where I live. And I was thinking, oh, I didn't know they were this close. So I sent him a friend request on Facebook, and next thing you know, we're talking and stuff, and he liked my energy. And so he thought he would share some of his knowledge with me. And the very first day we went out, we're walking. As soon as we got on the trail, he said, "Do you see that on the trail? That's a cliff, and they make them. That's their stick writing, whatever." And I swear, for what 3 or 4 years after that, I never took my eyes off the trail, because I was getting cliffs after cliff, just like bombarded with them. And then I started learning how, you know, what they meant, and communicating with them through them and stuff. And actually that day we had interaction with them too. We were knocking back and forth. Like, I don't do tree knocking. I don't do whoops and hollers and all that kind of stuff anymore. That was just for the first couple of years. I don't even really gift anymore, although we had some great experiences. But we were like knocking on the tree, and then the Sasquatch was up the hill. He would go knock knock. He'd go knock knock. We'd go knock knock knock, knock knock knock. He was kind of imitating us and whatever, and then he tried to up the game where he was trying to outdo us and whatever. So I knew right away, like from day one, that they were real, and I also knew that they weren't monkeys. Right from day one, it was obvious. Or gorillas.
Yeah, I was going to
apes or mountain apes or whatever you want to call them.
I was going to say what Jim was saying earlier about everything being connected. I'm still somewhat new into all this, like maybe about a year now, close to it. But I've been thinking like whether it's, paranormal or cryptid or UFO or, it's all connected in some weird metaphysical way. It might be separate, in ways, but I still think it's all connected.
Yeah. So you want to hear that?
Energy.
You want to hear that UFO story in Sasquatch then?
Absolutely.
Well, like I said, people have seen Sasquatch. Abductees have seen Sasquatch on craft, right? So there is a connection there. So we're me and my First Nations friend, once again, we're walking back from a long hike, and we stop at this place in the woods where they have like lumber displays or something. It's a research forest actually, and there's this big building with a big tin roof on top of it. Okay. But but there's no humans around for miles and miles. There's nobody around, and we're sitting there, and all of a sudden, started getting that sense that they're around, and we could kind of hear little things or whatever. All of a sudden, bang! This big rock went off the roof, like crash, right? And then they did about 5 or 6 times, like crash, and that was cool, because we said, "Hey, our friends are here." And I learned something very cool that day too. Like, how they say or maybe you don't know, but they say Sasquatch are so accurate they can throw rocks and stuff, and they're just so deadly accurate with it. Right?
I've actually heard that. Yes.
Okay. Well, sometimes it's not because they're throwing them from a distance and they're really deadly accurate. Like my hearing is not good. So I'm not going to tell you, I never exaggerate about anything because I represent them. So I'm going, that would be disrespectful. So I'm not going to say I heard something if I didn't, because my hearing is not that great. I wear hearing aids, but I'm not deaf. I can hear, but not as good as my friend. And he could hear them walking around us as all this was going on, and you could hear them breathing and everything too, right? Okay. So we're standing side by side at one point, and all of a sudden a little rock came right over our heads and landed right in front of us. We both saw it go by our eyes or whatever. And that kind of stuff has happened many times. And I'm sure that individual was cloaked and he just went boink, just threw it over top of us. So all that stuff was going on. And all of a sudden we look up into the sky. And when you look at something or whatever, when you're going through these experiences, like you don't look by accident or whatever quite often. It's just like, you're guided to look, or you're guided to find stuff. Like, remember that circle I showed you? The big circle. And I was guided. I only went off trail like 2 or 3 times that day, but I was guided directly there. It's like, but anyway, so we both looked up in the sky and we saw like a saucer. I think there was only a couple of clouds in the sky. As all the Sasquatch activity was going on, we saw a saucer up in the sky and it went into a cloud. It didn't come out. So there was those 2 things going on. And then we looked over at a tree about 100 yards away, and there was a red-tailed hawk, which is the spirit animal. Like, this guy's First Nation, so they very big on spirit animals and totems and stuff like that, was watching us from this tree, like intently or whatever, and it flew directly over our heads and then landed very, very shortly away from us and watched us again. So the spirit animal thing, the UFO, and the Sasquatch stuff is all going on at once. And like, I don't just say this, like these are not just one-time things and I'm making assumptions. When I talk about spirit animals and that kind of interaction, like these things happen over and over again. So you get to know what it is. Plus you have that knowing, but so it's not like these kind of things happen one time and then I'm jumping to conclusions. It's not like that.
I know exactly what you mean. Some of the orbs that I've seen, it's right there where I look, and I don't even know why I look there, but it's exactly right there. And it's like as soon as I look at it, it just fades away a few seconds after I see it. And when it first started happening, I thought I was seeing shit until other people started seeing it with me.
One of the great things I learned about orbs too, and this was also like a lesson, and they gave me, and I knew exactly what was going on. Is remember I told you when I sent you that series of pictures of the orbs you looked at, Josh?
Yeah.
Chad, were you able to pull up any of the pictures?
Yeah, we'll get them. We'll get to them.
Yeah, I've got some pictures loaded.
Okay.
Just gotta have Brian kind of run the show because they're all out of order. So
Okay.
Yeah, we'll just do the best we can. Like some of the stories are really, it's key that they're in order because there's a progression as I'm explaining it. But whatever, we'll just go with it. But anyway, where was I? Oh yeah. So anyway, my wife and I were out in the woods, and we have been discussing orbs because we had just seen a bunch of amazing orb pictures from Kelly Rainbow Butterfly. You know, the gathering that she has in Washington State. Have you heard of her?
I think I've heard. I think Barbara.
Okay, whatever. They have a Sasquatch gathering and a bunch of people attend. And we had seen a bunch of orb pictures that were really fascinating that people were taking there. So my wife and I are out in the woods, and we're just pitch black. And she just says, "Hey, how about I pull my camera out and see if we can get any orb pictures?" So once again, no coincidence. So she snapped, I think, a series of maybe 6 or 7 pictures in, maybe 10-second segments or whatever. First picture, completely black. Oh, and by the way, in these pictures, like there was a fire ring there, but there was no fire going and nobody was smoking. So it was like, we're just, there's nothing there. Then all of a sudden we've seen a few orbs come in. The next picture, then a whole bunch of orbs. And then in a fourth picture, it looked like a misty smoke plus the orbs. Remember that? It formed into a being, an actual entity or whatever. And then the next picture, it walked off to the left. And then the next picture, there was a huge face like right above my wife's knee, looking at her and smiling. And so then I had this knowing when I saw that, I'm saying this omnipresent or powerful being or whatever. I'm not saying it exactly right, but this powerful evolved being is bringing the orbs were gathering from different points of consciousness, and it was bringing them all together. So this powerful being had its consciousness here, there, and everywhere or wherever, and it just formed into one. So it was, I got that knowing when I saw that, like, wow, he can be here, he can be there, or it was a female, or there, here, everywhere, and just form into one. So that talks about pretty powerful things, right?
Yeah.
Brian, I want to take a chance and see if these are the right pictures, but there's this one.
That's when it walked off, yeah.
This one.
That's when it formed from the... Can you see it? It almost even has a face.
Yeah, on the top.
And it looks like a sickle even.
And there's no cigarette smoke or anything.
Oh, and there's the face. There's the face, yeah.
Yeah, right there on the top right is the face.
Can you see it?
That's what that looks like, cigarette smoke, but it's too defined. You know what I mean?
It's not cigarette smoke. We
don't smoke. I can tell that it's not. I'm saying to maybe like a skeptical eye, but you can see it's way too well defined. As a former smoker who's taken a lot of pictures, that's definitely not cigarette smoke. It's too defined.
Yeah.
There's like too much to it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. And plus, the first picture in this series, there was like 2 or 3 before that. There was no, if you want to call those circles orbs or whatever, there was none of that. Then they just got more and more and more. And then
did you see that one? Oh my gosh! I'm sorry to interrupt you, but that was a face that just gave me the chills. Like I felt
this
like it was
here?
staring right at me.
Yeah, I know. There's a face right.
Oh, okay. I do see it now. Wow.
There is a face. There is a face. Yeah.
The other one.
This one here.
No, the other one.
I'm sorry. This one.
No, that's okay. No, not that one.
There's only
might be a little bit of a delay. It was the third one you showed, and it was like.
They're pretty quick for me. Is it delayed for you?
There it is.
Go back to that.
There it is.
This one?
Where the knee is. Then yeah.
Oh, where the knee is, right here?
I see it in the one with the knee.
There's a face smiling.
Yeah, right? Okay. So that is the right one with the knee.
Yeah.
I also see in the one where the stuff is on the left-hand side, like if you're looking at the computer, it's on the left-hand side. I can also see like a profile of a Sasquatch looking face in that one. Is that what that's supposed to be of? Because this one yeah, right there.
Oh, I
it's
see
like,
that now.
do you see the profile of it? Like the eyebrows that stick out,
Mm-hmm.
the mouth kind of monkey-ish, but not exactly. Do you see that like as if it were looking to the right?
Yeah, I didn't see that before, but once you said profile, I can see it now.
It's to me, that's what it looks like.
Gemma, we're over here and looking at the same thing you are, and as soon as I'm saying, you're saying the same thing.
Yeah.
And we're
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was like, oh look, me and Jim are on the same wavelength.
I said, oh, I see a face there, and he said, oh yeah, a monkey. It looks like a monkey face, and then you said it at the same time.
Like,
yeah,
15 or 20 seconds before that, there was nothing. It was just completely black. Then a couple orbs, then a bunch of orbs, and then it started morphing into an entity.
Lunar Eclipse Paranormal in the chat said something that she sees a staff or a pitchfork. That was the first thing I immediately noticed. There was some kind of
it's not. Is there smoke in that picture?
No.
She wants to know somebody
It's
was
not.
smoking.
Nobody was smoking, so it's
Nope.
just that's just all popping up.
Yep.
Man, that's crazy.
And those pictures are back to back, right?
Yeah.
Like those are all consecutive pictures, right?
Well, yeah, there was a series. There's more to the series, but those ones were just when they were starting to come in. Like I said, maybe 20 seconds. That was every 5 seconds or so she was taking pictures. So the first picture was completely black. There was not even a single orb, anything. It was just like black sky. Then a couple orbs, then a whole bunch of orbs. Then the picture where it looked like the face with the sickle and whatever. That was the fourth one. That's when they all came in from different points of consciousness.
So it got stronger and stronger as you took pictures.
Yeah, and then the one where it looked like the face you said was Sasquatch face.
Yeah.
I saw it as walking off or whatever, but whatever, that was the fifth, and then the one with the face looking down at my wife's knees was the last
that makes sense, especially since you say they're interdimensional beings. Especially,
you know, a lot of the time that's how spirit will come to me. If it's a spirit that I haven't met, and again with the everything being connected, if it's not a spirit I'm already connected to and they're specifically coming to me, that's how they come. Sometimes it's like orb and poof, and sometimes it's like smoke. Well, not really smoke, but what you see in the picture there. So that's why that kind of blew my mind too. That's so insane.
Yeah, well, that's what happened in my room too. It was smoke, except in that smoke, the Sasquatch became crystal clear. Like I could see him, like his whole head and shoulders and whatever. It was like a little different than that, but it still came in from a puff of smoke, white smoke.
That's how spirit comes to me a lot of the time. If I don't know them, not like if I'm walking through somewhere and I happen to see a dead. I mean, like if they're specifically coming to me for something and I don't know them yet, that's how I'll see them. But if I try to take pictures like I've tried and it's spirit, nothing will show up on the freaking camera.
Yeah, I was wondering, if I had when I was on the John there and that I saw that holographic image of the twin flames, I mean, not that you think of that stuff at the time, but I wonder what I would have seen, or if anything, if I had taken a picture.
That's interesting. What would have come up? I mean, I've tried and I've since been told not to do it, but at first I'm just mesmerized and wondering what this is, trying to get like proof for my mom, but so interesting that it won't show up. But when you take the pictures of the Sasquatch coming in and out of dimensions is what you think they were doing, right? Or what you, then you can get them. That's so, I don't know. I'm like really sick, guys. I'm going to head out. My fever, I feel like it's starting to get like really high because I'm starting to like lag. Like my thoughts are coming very slow. I love you guys. Thank you for having me. I'm not going to make this a big outro. So cool. Anytime, just send me the invite. This was awesome. Chad, I'll talk to you later. Josh, nice meeting you. Brian, I'll see all of you on your channels. And everyone in the chat, love you guys. I'm out.
All right, bye.
Good
Feel
night.
better. Feel better.
Thanks.
See ya. Oh, that's too bad.
I was wanting to say before she got off, I was sitting there thinking just a second ago how cool it is that just until now we've had people with experiences with paranormal, psychic, Sasquatch and UFO, like all the fields of the phenomenon, really, just all together in one chat. I mean, it's just pretty awesome. And you were talking earlier about, people coming together for a reason.
Yeah, it's amazing because she's obviously pretty connected into source and all these things. And yet, she's on the show and I'm introducing her to some things that she might not be aware of. It's just a beautiful sharing, right?
Yeah, before she came on, she was like, I don't know anything about Sasquatch, but I'll give it my best. And she comes out here and just runs the whole show. She did really good.
Yeah, I'm kind of disappointed she left because, she'll be able to see the replay.
Catch Gemma Jade on the Chad Smith podcast on Tuesday morning at 8 o'clock Eastern.
So what is Bridget getting out of this?
I'm kind of...
What are you picking up on?
I actually kind of know nothing about Sasquatch except for what the First Nations kind of the legends or whatever. I know the Anishinaabe and the Chippewa had a theory that they were Earth Guardians, and the whole scenario of the owl is the owl was supposed to be interdimensional, in which it was supposed to send you messages. It was also supposed to be of your ancestry. And it's weird because I look at your pictures and the pictures look like runes, which, they all mean something. And obviously runes are, they're multicultural. So they could be from a Nordic but it's really very interesting to me.
Well, yeah, there's guys like scientific-minded guys, but they keep asking me, and I keep telling them. They say, "What is the meaning of them?" I said, "I can't tell you. It's between you and them. It really is personal between you and them. The meaning, although the symbols, do look like runes and stuff of that nature. Yeah, but they don't only use sticks. They use rocks. They use ferns. They'll use vines. They'll use all kinds of stuff." They'll even use something that they find, like that a person dropped or something or whatever, and make it into a glyph. Now I've got a couple of pictures of that actually, but so they're opportunists too. They'll use whatever's available, right?
Brigid, were you saying like the mist in that picture is what you said looks like runes?
Yeah, and the rock formations or the stick formations looks like elgies to me, which means elk. It means the word elk, and it means protected. So that's why when I saw the picture, I was like, "Oh, that looks familiar to me." So, and that's also the First Nation people had their own runes, as well as the Nordic people, and because the Nordic people came. Well, obviously before Columbus and all that lovely stuff, way beforehand, there's a good chance that the two cultures melded those two things together. So,
wow, I didn't think about that.
Meanings, yeah. There's a lot of redheads all over. Anyway.
What I was thinking of, I don't know if Brian pulled it up before I got on here, but there's the glyph that he showed me that blew me away the most was the one that spirals in. It was that one and a couple other ones, the circle that was spiraling in.
I shared a couple of the ones that I did on the other podcast. It's there somewhere. I can find it.
That one made me think of a dream catcher the first time I saw it, and that's still my favorite one that you showed. And I was also going to say, you were on the subject of orbs earlier. You showed me one orb picture where I had no doubt it was an orb whenever I saw it, because in the picture it looked just like some of the ones I saw, but you could actually see where a part of the orb was behind a leaf in the picture, so you could tell it wasn't like a lens flare or anything like that.
If it's like a camera anomaly or water spots or something, you're never going to see it behind a leaf.
That's the one Josh was talking about.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And I mean, you have to have the perfect sticks with that perfect curvature and everything. And like, Brian doesn't get paid to do this stuff. He's got hundreds of thousands of pictures, and
not hundreds of thousands, maybe 20.
Hundreds old.
I got a lot.
Well, hundreds at least, right?
Well, no, probably 20,000 or more.
Oh wow! I didn't mean 100,000. I meant hundreds or thousands. So you definitely over 1,000 more. Wow.
Oh, okay. I thought you said hundreds of thousands.
This one here is really cool too. It's just in the same circular pattern.
Yep.
I really like
Circle is about connection, yeah.
Yeah, I wish Gemma was still on, because didn't you say there's mushrooms in that picture too, in the circle pattern? That one that's just up there.
Yeah, who? Oh, Gemma. Yeah, I keep hearing Jim, and I'm saying, who's Jim?
Yeah, Gemma. Hopefully she's still listening or watching. But yeah,
tell her to come back on.
This one has the mushrooms in the middle, right?
Chat. Also, people were asking in chat if we had her information. So if you can drop anything for Gemma in chat, so people can her email.
I'll put it in the chat again, but it's GemmaJadeParanormal@gmail.com.
Oh, there she goes.
Go.
Thank you, Chad.
Oracle's got it.
That's good.
Actually, that picture you just had up kind of makes me think of that symbol behind Brigid right now. I'm trying to see what that is. Looks like some sacred geometry type stuff. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, they're big on circles. Circles about connection, you know. They're also teaching me about boxes. Like, people are always in these boxes of beliefs or whatever, and that's where their learning stops, when they can't get out of that. Like religions, for instance.
How many different places are you when you go? Like, it's everywhere you go, or like, has it been a bunch of different forests you go into and see all this, or it's?
I generally go to one place most of the time, but as far as the glyphs go, actually, I probably have a couple pictures here. They'll leave glyphs right by my car at my house.
Wow.
They'll leave them in my backyard. They've actually done stuff in my room, and the same glyphs, the same identical glyphs. Like, I live in British Columbia, Canada. When I went and visited my wife in the States, sometimes we'd go to Oregon, sometimes Washington State. The same glyphs would show up there, quite often right by my driver's side door or whatever. So,
when they're in your room, do you think it's more so of a thing where they come in and do that when you're not home, or
they could do it when I'm here?
When you're here,
they're probably right here right now.
Oh wow!
I'll a couple times I've left like toothpicks side by side or whatever, and I look at them a couple hours later and they're in a glyph.
Oh wow!
So
just doing all this stuff right in front of your face,
well, they've actually changed. I had one series of pictures, but they're not in order. But where I could have showed you where I saw it, then I looked away, and I looked back, and it was changed just within a few seconds. Oh, and that was actually it was a series of 3 glyphs, and it was a lesson in time. That was when I was first starting to think about time and how time wasn't linear like it is with us, with them.
Yes.
And they showed me that in a glyph. I figured it out after the fact, because the piece that they were moving over time was like from a 7 o'clock angle to whatever. The one that was moving, I associated with time or whatever. And then they started really intense lessons about time and stuff, and still going on.
Wow.
Brian, should I just bring up a couple of pictures of some glyphs and see if...
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, these look pretty cool.
Because this one is pretty intricate here.
Yep. And you know what? I don't even know what that one means. I don't know what all of them mean, but I know they made it.
Yeah, and it's got the A.
Okay, that's fine.
For what was the name of his tribe again?
RE. I don't know if that is an A though, because it's not actually connecting.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's.
When they make an A, it connects Yeah.
RA is the.
No, an A.
Oh, just an A. Oh, okay. RE. Oh, I see.
See the A here?
That's not one of his signatures though. They have their own signatures, so that I know who the message is from.
Who it is that's telling you whatever they need to,
Yeah, exactly.
That they're acknowledging you.
Although the thing with RA, because he is the leader, sometimes people will leave his glyph a message from the clan of RA. So he doesn't always he's not always the one who leaves the A's, but if there's the 4 or the H or open triangle, which are other guys' signatures, if I see those, then I know that they left them personally.
Even though, so it's not always the message is from him, but it's not always him.
Well, because he's the clan leader.
Yeah. Huh.
Yeah, go over a few and let's see what happens.
That's neat.
Okay, well that's actually that's the. Did you put these ones in order now or no?
No, I didn't move these ones around, but that one was the first one, and this one's the second one.
Okay, well we're missing the third, but go back to the first one.
That's not the third. Is this? Okay. Sorry about that.
Okay, so you see the piece. You see the piece at the. So I got out of my car and I was looking at this. It was right by my car as soon as I got out because, like I said, they'll lead me places, and then there's something there. So you see the little piece on the bottom left, the piece that is kind of
going
like
to
a
like
hieroglyph or
but it's
something.
not like a 2 o'clock angle. You see that piece?
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So when we go to the next picture, but hang on a minute. But if you look right above that little tangle of pieces right above it, that is actually about an inch off the ground. So okay. So and there was no wind that day. So all I did was I'm looking at this. I looked away, and so go to the next picture. You see how it's up above that little tangle?
Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
You know, that was like happened within like 5 seconds. Something
Can you
caught
go
my
back and
attention.
forth? Okay. Yeah. There we go.
This
Yeah.
one.
Do it one more
And
time.
that one.
Yeah.
Oh, yep. It's different.
Wow.
And then the next time,
So that one
It
was
was-
just teetering on the one below it.
yeah.
That's what you're
Well,
saying?
let me put it this way: there was no wind, and it would be even if it was wind, it would be impossible for it to have blown up there. I mean, it's even
Yeah.
tucked in a little bit, as you can see.
Yeah.
So it was moved by telekinesis or by hand or a cloaked Sasquatch or something. It just didn't end up there by accident.
And so
and
you
then in
just
the next
came
one,
upon this, the first
what-
one.
What's
you just
that?
came up on it. You just came up on the first one and seen that there and took a picture of it.
Well, my relationship with them is sometimes they they guide me to where to go.
Okay.
You know, I'll
And
get
then
a
so you
feeling I
turned
have to
away
go
for
here
a second,
or
and then you came back and it was changed.
no. They will guide me to where I go, or else they will know where I'm going to go. Like I said, because time is not linear for them. They know what I'm going to do. You know, they know I'm going to come up with an understanding of something. Sometimes 5-6 years or longer before I do. So no, I just looked at that first picture. I was standing there. I didn't move at all. All I did was I went from looking ahead to looking over, look back, and it was changed that quickly.
Wow.
And you know, we don't have the third one in the sequence, but it's not that important. So the piece that moved was up at maybe a 10 o'clock angle, and then there were another couple pieces removed. But that was like an hour or so later after I came back from my hike.
Oh.
So
I'm trying to find one that would look similar to that one, so I can pull it
It
up.
doesn't
okay,
freak
that's
you
okay.
out at all? It doesn't freak you out at all? You're very comfortable with it now, huh?
absolutely not. It doesn't freak me out at all. I think it's wonderful.
Because I think if that were to happen, I'd be like, oh my gosh, what the heck?
No, it doesn't freak me out at all because I know them, right? So
Yeah.
it's just like I'm very comfortable with what
You've gotten comfortable with it.
I
That's
trust whatever. I was comfortable with them right off the bat because, like I said, I think I had a relationship with them prior to when I was consciously aware of it. So I was never freaked out by them.
Huh. I'm just saying, personally, I probably think I would have been a little bit. Even with stuff like that moving and just a second change.
I just think, wow, this is cool. You know, like
it's neat if you can just let it all in and accept it. Yeah, for sure.
We can look at some more if you want.
Okay. I'm gonna go back to this one here. This one is.
Oh, okay. This was just a few days ago. So there's a little. This is cute because there's a little tiny baby, right? A 1-year-old baby that's just born into the clan. So if you look at the big one, the evergreens or whatever on the big hollow stump or whatever, I came upon that, and my opinion is that the older brother and sister made this, and then you see in front of it the little tiny one.
Oh yeah,
The
with the
little
rocks.
baby, the little baby imitating them.
Yep.
Wow.
It does look like a baby. Look at a baby sitting up, crouched over.
He built him a shelter for one of his dolls.
Yeah.
Just
Or
playing, right?
did what his
Playing.
big brother and sister were doing, or his parents were doing, or whatever.
Yeah, he just wants to do it. You know, he's just learning how to do it. So go to the next one. So that's the close up of the little guy's one.
That is such a cool picture, Brian.
Yeah,
It's
it is.
cool, man.
Look at the fog in the background and everything.
Yeah.
That's the little baby learning how to do stuff, just growing up, right?
Wow.
Watching the elders do what they're doing and recreating it. Yeah.
Well, he's got an older sister and brother that are actually twins. So I think that they were doing it, and maybe the juvenile that I know, Little Bud, I call him, probably babysitting all of them because the other ones are only like 6 years old, the twins.
Can
So
you-
there's another
can you
picture.
pull
Go to the next
Can you pull that picture back up real
We had
quick?
them in sequence.
Sorry, what
I
was
was
that,
gonna ask
Josh?
real quick. Can you pull that picture back up really quick?
This
There's
one
something
here?
above the rocks back there. Is that a stump or what is that? It looks like a structure.
It's just a stump.
Okay, it's a wide stump. All right, making sure.
Yeah. Okay. So this was also right there where they were building, and that's you see, you look for collaborative evidence when you see this stuff, even though I know what's going on. This is the man Sasquatch connected cliff, so that was right there too. This was actually right in front of the big structure. You can actually see it in the picture. And that means man Sasquatch connected, which to me leaves no doubt as to the origin.
This is in the same area as this one?
You can see it. You can see it right there. Can you see it?
I see it.
Oh, I
Yeah.
see it. Yeah, right above the little one.
Right in between
Yeah,
the big.
yeah,
and
it's
little
right in
one,
between them.
Yeah.
So that is man Sasquatch connected. So
That's
they're
what
just,
that stands for. Why does that mean that?
because
That's just what you came.
that's just what I came up
No.
with. This is what it means. And then the next
Okay.
day they started connecting with me with that meaning. And it's not wishful. It's 100%.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
5 years
Repeats.
ago, before I came up with that meaning, they already knew that I was going to come up with that meaning because they were doing it in cliffs when I didn't even know what it meant. But just the message or whatever is so.
They're communicating with you through that, and you know that that's what that means. So now they're using it as well. Yeah, even though they
Yeah,
knew
but
it
like
before.
I said, they knew years before that I was going to know what it meant.
Well,
which
if
is
you were
kinda-
saying because time is not linear, maybe they already know that.
Not maybe, they did.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. That's,
Brian, I'm just curious, real quick. Brian, do you have the picture of the footprint in these pictures that you sent him?
In the snow?
Oh,
I don't
let's
think
do
you sent me a
I
couple.
got a one in the snow. Let's do one in the snow. Yeah.
All
I
right.
haven't seen that one.
There's
That
two.
one.
There's the trackway
I
that
haven't
we were
seen
following.
it.
Actually, they left me a really special glyph about my wife and I.
I was sick.
Okay.
2 times.
We can find that too, but they left me a really special.
Wow. I'd seen this video on this too, where the way the foot is shaped and the joints that move in a Sasquatch's foot is a whole lot different.
Yeah.
And it creates a flatter pattern because it bends in 2 spots, and a human foot only bends in 1 spot. So you can definitely tell when it's a
Just give me a
Sasquatch.
second, guys.
Yeah, you're okay, Brian.
Yeah, I just heard that same thing recently. I'm totally new to all the Sasquatch stuff, but something
Me
about you
too.
can
I am too.
not just the size, but there's things that you can differentiate from the
They say,
I think like the
so
arch.
their foot is more like a hand. How we have 2 sets of knuckles on the foot. So a Sasquatch
Okay.
foot, no humans, hardly any humans have this, where it will bend in 2 spots, like you have your top knuckle and your bottom knuckle. On a human foot, you only have your knuckle at your toe, and then the knuckle, but you're connecting your foot to your toes.
Yeah.
With
That's-
the
Amanda,
Sasquatch
you
foot, they
know.
have 2 knuckles. Yeah, with the
Chad.
Sasquatch foot, they have 2 knuckles on their actual toes, and then they also have a center knuckle that bends their foot. So that's what makes it so
mid-tarsal break. Yeah, they
yes,
don't look
that's
like a
what I'm
human.
thinking. Yes, that's what I'm talking about.
Chad, see if you can find a picture of what looks like orange kind of like nylon stuff in the snow in a design, because I want to point that out too, because that was the same day, and it's pretty compelling. Like, this is way up in the mountains, right where we saw this. There's nobody else around there. Can you find that one? Yes.
That.
Okay. So like I said, they'll use any old thing that's available to them. So
wow,
this is what they left us the same day we saw the trackway, and that, obviously that foot, and this. Do you see the fish kind of thing up at the top?
Oh yeah, right at the top.
The oval thing.
Yep.
That means that's for my wife and I, and they've left me like probably 100, more than 100 of these. It's talks about my connection with my wife. It's our connection. Okay.
Oh,
And you can
that's
see the A
awesome.
woven into that. So that's A for Ari, the clan leader. So he's talking about you and your wife are connected. As a matter of fact, they connected us. And he's just signing it with his signature, and you're connected to me.
That's so
amazing.
cool.
That's really
Yeah.
cool.
And like I said, this is way up in the mountains, like, you know, like
Where no one's gonna be. No one
and
can
not
be
only
up there
that,
fooling.
I know what, you know, I can read it, so I know that it's
You know what to look for.
yeah.
Absolutely.
So that
That's
talks about
awesome.
my connection with my wife and our connection with them.
Do you want to talk about that or no? How did they connect you?
My wife and I,
Yeah.
through mind speak or whatever, like they, you know, they and a bunch of different ways, but they basically said that you have work to do with us. We want you two together. You have work to do with us, and they've been like nothing but supportive and loving about the whole thing, and they're constantly leaving us like glyphs that talk about it, you know, confirmative, and they've left us like one time we left them. I think I got that picture too. Do you have a picture of like some ferns that look like little bouquets, 2 of them?
I'll definitely look for those. Let me see here.
One time we left them we left them turkey dinner, right? For Thanksgiving, and anyway, so we were at another place, and all of a sudden I had a knowing. I said, okay, the energy. I said they either took it or they're acknowledging it.
Oh,
so they did take it, and that's what they left us. Like,
how cute.
You know, representing her and I. That was like their
your
thank
love
you, right?
together. That's cute. They're involved
That's so
in it.
cool.
That's cute.
Yeah,
that's really cool.
I like that.
Brian, I was gonna say I could imagine just being. I mean, like Ben and Joe last night on the UFO garage were talking about, or Joe was just out being in nature. You know, it's really therapeutic. And I was thinking, you know, I wonder if a part of, you know, what they're doing with you and maybe you and your wife, or not maybe, but I'm sure, you know, just, and other people who, you know, do this or passionate about it, is just getting them in nature and, you know, away from this material world that we live in. And, you know, just getting you connected back to nature pretty much. Do you ever feel that way?
Sure. Absolutely. There's way more to it than that, but that's part of it. I'm 100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did your wife love that so much?
Oh yeah.
Did they do that? I bet.
Absolutely. I shared another one. I don't think I gave you this picture this time of a little tent cliff that one time they did a little drawing of what they saw us doing. Like
let me bring that one up, Brian, because that one's really cool.
Is it there? I don't know if it is there.
It's in the old one, the old folder that you sent me.
You're really, you know what? You're doing pretty good for the
I'm
not
trying,
being in
man.
order.
I feel
You're doing
bad.
real good, Chad.
Let me see.
You got it, buddy. Doing great.
Working out better than I thought.
Chad's a pro.
I'm trying to find that one here.
You hanging in there, Brady? You doing all right? Are you having fun? You hanging in there?
I'm reading all the chats.
I felt bad I didn't get here early enough to say hi to everybody.
You never gave me my reading results.
Oh, there it is.
I was just about to. Oh, did you already give her him a reading?
We're gonna get to that
I
around
gave her my
8.
birth date and all that stuff, but I didn't hear any of what she thought.
We'll get into that at around 8 o'clock.
Alrighty.
Somewhere around there.
Going to the readings, huh?
Here it is, Brian.
All right.
I like
Man,
that.
you're the best, Chad.
I'm trying.
No wonder you got that golden light.
I got the golden aura around me.
Hey, we're like the golden boys.
That's right. This one is really cool. Explain like where you guys are at and where the Sasquatch
Okay,
is
like, and this also, guys, also speaks to what I was saying, that they already knew years before I came up with the meaning. That they already knew I was going to come up with it, and I'll explain that as I get to it. So you can see like a basic tent kind of design, right?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Now, hold on a minute. Let me back up a little bit.
Instead.
So my wife and I are outside of our tent, and we're sitting there. And once again, my hearing is not that great, but she could hear a heavy individual breathing in the bush. She could hear his breathing or whatever, and she says, "I think that's Forshna. That's one of the she's gifted and whatever, and so she just had a knowing that it was Forshna." So we went to bed, and the next day we woke up, and about 10 feet in front of our tent, and just kind of tucked behind the trees, you can see, was this tent glyph. And what it represents is the tent that we were in. As you can see, it's got a tent floor. It's even got the tent pegs right below the ground. Like, that's cool. Like, they really know how to design a tent. My wife pointed out specifically. It's even got the tent pegs. And if you look inside, there's 2 little sticks in there. That's my wife and I, right? In the tent.
Yeah.
So I want to clarify. Yeah. So I wanted to clarify that sometimes these glyphs are a personal message, or they're a writing and they're a language kind of thing. And sometimes they even do them in sentences or whatever. But in this case, and in many cases, they will just leave you a glyph of what they observed. So that's what they observed. So you can see her and I in the tent, and off on the outside, see the bigger stick? That's exactly the position where he was, where my wife heard him breathing. Okay. Right.
That's so cool.
Yeah. So
I mean, it would freak a lot of people out.
And this will answer Amanda's kind of, what you were talking about. So as you can also see, like when I first looked at it, I knew what the X meant. You can see an X on the roof, right? Friendship welcome.
There, right?
Yeah. Basically, yeah, exactly. Friendship welcome X, right? Okay, you seeing that?
Yep.
So that's common in their messages because they always want to express love and connection and stuff like that. But look at the stick that's connected to the vertical one, the one that's going off at the 11 o'clock angle. Can you see that?
Right here, right?
Yep, and then connected to that long one.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's a Y.
Yeah.
It's a Y, which means man Sasquatch connected. I didn't know what it meant when I took this picture. I didn't know what it meant until about 5 years later. But can you see how it just fits perfectly?
Yeah, that's really cool. This is one of the best ones.
Man Sasquatch connected. We're connected to you. Friendship welcome X. Like I said, I didn't know what that Y meant when I took that picture. It was only 5 years later or so that I knew what it meant. But that's what I'm talking about.
And this after this pattern keeps repeating over and over, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah. Like
I mean,
said, none of these things are just one-time things
same.
that I'm jumping to conclusions.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I meant what I meant to ask. Sorry, was how long after you kept seeing this symbol was it? Whenever you came to that realization, that's what that meant.
Well, like one day I saw a Y stick in front of one of their glyphs, and I thought, you know what? This means man Sasquatch connected. The very next day, they left me an amazing Y stick with a rock on top of it. I think I got that picture, and that confirmed that they heard me. That was what it meant. And the rock signified the individual who left it. So as far as this one goes, this was taken about 5 or 6 years before I came to the realization of what it meant. And I've looked back at other pictures, a lot of other pictures, and I've got some in here, including in my pictures, that the same thing. I'll look through my pictures. I'll go through some of the old ones and I say, wait a minute. There it is. Like, whoa.
That's awesome. I'm still so new into the Sasquatch thing. It wasn't until really recently that I realized Native Americans, there's tales going back, hundreds, probably thousands of years that really talk about what sounds like Sasquatches to me. And like what Brigid was saying earlier, and Brian, I can't remember if I told you, but I did tell you, my grandfather was a Blackfoot Native American, so I'm really curious into researching this more after later on down the road.
Yeah. If you can chat, while we're talking, if you can somehow, there's a series of pictures of rocks, black rocks, and there's about 6 like this, and there's also a picture of a gray rock that's put on a stump. Yeah, that one. That's the first one. If you can put them in some kind of sequence, I've got an amazing story about that.
It looks like they kind of already are. All the black ones are in sequence, and then wow, those are really cool.
Okay.
Rocks.
Well, put that first one. Put that first one back.
This
the
one
gray
here?
one. No, that's the third one in the sequence.
This gray one here.
Okay, you see, so one day I'm in the woods by the river or whatever, and there was this rock that was just placed on a stump, and I just had a knowing, okay, it's for me, right?
Yeah.
Now take note of the shape of that. You can see the shape of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So go to the next picture.
I'm guessing. Is it this one?
that rock was a common river rock, like gray and whatever. Like it was just a river rock, right?
Mm-hmm.
It turned completely black the next day.
Jeez.
I mean,
I remember you telling me
the
that.
same shape, man. And you can even see a Sasquatch on it. Can you see a Sasquatch?
I was about to say, I could see a
Yeah.
Sasquatch on the left going all the way up. It even looks like one of his legs is going out a little bit.
Well, I can see on the
is that what
top,
you're
I can
talking
see
about?
his skull and kind of his back,
Yeah.
and you see like an arm and a leg. It's my clan leader,
Yeah.
already. That rock changed from a common river rock, gray, to totally black the next day.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's amazing.
I know. Is there one that's a big one that looks like just a big face? It's not the one with.
Is it this
Yeah.
one?
Oh, this is good. Okay. So, hey, man, it's working out.
I'm doing
So
all right.
okay, so the first one, the one that looked like RE, like I said, it changed from a common river rock to completely black. And if you want to check it out, the shape's the same. It's the same rock. So I'm out in the woods, like camping out all by myself, and a test of courage or whatever, like way out. It's just me and fire and thermarest mat. I wasn't even in a tent, and I'm holding the first rock up, the one that looked like RE, and I'm saying, "Thank you so much, guys. You don't know how much I appreciate this." I was just because I love that rock for obvious reasons. And so the next day I'm hiking out, and as soon as I hit the trail, I heard whoop, like a real loud Sasquatch whoop, and I looked right below me. As soon as I heard it, right on the trail was this rock. It looks like a face too, right?
Yeah, it does.
And when I saw it, I got mind speak. It said, "You're getting a third. You're getting a third." And so about a year later, I came upon the third, and I think it was, you already showed that picture. So yeah. So a year later, this all happened like about in a 3-year period. I got the first one, and then a year later, I got the second one or so. Then this one. Now, I don't know if it shows up here or whatever, but I've shown a lot of people this. But this lady who I actually connected into Sasquatch, like it's not about me or whatever, but it's just like that's how we all meet. That's how we're all connected. It's just how it works, right? And there's actually a very interesting story with glyphs that is actually really tied into this. But anyway, so we're at this gathering, and she goes across the street and she sees this rock on a great big boulder, and she picks it up and she gets mind speak. It says, "This is for Brian." So she gives me this rock, and I automatically knew it was for me. And if you see them, we'll have a picture of them all together. They look like a family, look like a little family. And my wife said at the time, we're looking at it, and she says, "Your name's written on the bottom of that rock." And I was just interested in talking to people and whatever, and because it was a gathering of like people like us, like Toon and spiritual Sasquatch people. And so I didn't pay much attention to it. But about a while later, I'm driving down the street, and I've got the rock, and I'm just kind of, I'm just kind of like going like this, looking at the bottom of it, and then, what the fuck? Sorry for swearing, but there's my name on it, and you can see a Brian. I don't know if it's showing up, but if you see the rock, you can see it. But,
oh my God! Yeah, after you just said that, now I can
my
see it on
name
the
is
bottom.
written on the bottom of that rock.
Wow. I can actually see that now that you mentioned where it's at.
The N is a little bit not as clear, but you can see the BRI and the A.
Yeah.
And the weird thing is that doesn't look like they just etched that in there like the day before I found it. It looks like it's ancient,
Sure does.
So,
but you were meant to.
I definitely see the B and the R and the I.
I can see the A pretty good too.
Still, I see the B and the R and the I perfect though. It's still okay. Yeah, I do see it a little bit now. I had to look at it. It's
pretty cool.
Yeah. So
hey, you guys, I'm gonna have to. I gotta jump off. I'm gonna be back on in just a minute. I gotta take care of something real quick.
Have to dock your pay.
I wanted to ask something real quick before I forgot I need to take care of something. I have a friend I just spoke with recently who told me his father had an experience with a white Sasquatch. Have you ever heard of anything like that, Brian, or had any kind of experiences, or do you know anybody?
RE is white.
Do what? Really? Oh wow! I'm gonna have to tell him that.
They're the female part of the Sasquatch is human. So they have like red hair, brown hair, black hair, white hair, all the different kinds of colors that people have.
If you got any pictures you want me to pull up, you can just tell me too, Brian. Me and Chad both run this one.
Oh well, just pull up something and we'll see what comes up. See if we get lucky.
You want to know that one? The trees.
If you want to look at some of the Sasquatch pictures of them, actually.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you have the picture where you can see the
was
face.
just picking one out, so I'll pull it up and then I'll let you explain this one. Amanda wants to see it.
Okay, there's my clan leader. You see him?
Okay.
He's right dead center. He's cloaked, of course, but you can still see him. Like I see him clear as a bell.
Can you guys see my cursor? You can see that, yeah.
Where?
Is it on your screen too?
You guys are seeing this, right? No?
Well, I don't see it moving.
So to the left center.
Oh, okay.
Left center behind a tree back there. Is that what we're looking at?
Right in the center, between all the trees, you can see him. He's like cloaked, but you can see his big shoulders. You can see his head, his nose, his eyes, everything. Can you see him?
Right in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah. I see that. I see exactly what he's telling me.
All of that green?
Right here. You see how this is cloaked? Papa Willie?
Yeah.
Okay. Like imagine from
like Predator.
Predator.
Yep.
Yeah.
The Predator movie. Now look at his nose and eyes right here, like it's not cloaked. So you're seeing. Yeah.
See, if you ever seen the Patterson film, she has a great big nose, kind of like a Jimmy Durante kind of thing. You can see that same nose on RE. See, it's kind of white.
Yeah.
And then the eyes are just above that, the head. Can you see what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah. We can see it. Can you guys see it? Can you see that one, Josh?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I've seen this before. I didn't notice it until he pointed it out to me. Can you go around it with your mouse so people watching this can see what they're talking about?
No.
He said it's white.
If you guys can't see my cursor, then no, I cannot. I don't know why I can't.
Okay, well, you can see between the trees, right? About dead center in the picture.
Chad, highlight the face on this.
Dead center is his head, and then his body is down from that.
I can see perfect now.
I got to pull it up.
I can see him perfectly.
It's crazy.
I have to pull it up a different way, but I'll get there in a second.
The thing was that day I was going into the woods and I felt their energy so strong. It was so overpowering, the love, that I started weeping openly, like literally like making sound and like it was.
Is this the same picture?
No.
Okay. Sorry about that.
That's an awesome picture. I saw a face in that. That's crazy.
Yeah, I did too.
You can go back.
Anyway, it was so powerful, the feeling of love I got, and I just said, "Hey, RE, why don't you come and visit me today?" So I didn't see him when I was taking the pictures. I was just taking pictures. There's his head right there.
There we go, right there.
Yeah, there he is.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's most of his body right there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's so cool.
So I said, "Come and visit me." Yeah, there's his head.
Okay. Yep, I see that.
And his shoulder.
And I've seen a few other videos like that too, where they're kind of deep up behind the trees.
I was overcome with love and whatever, and it was just like, so I said, "Come and visit me," and I was just taking a bunch of pictures like I normally do. And when I got home, my wife said, "Hey, check this out. There's RE in your picture." So he did come and visit me. But that's the thing, right? I wasn't trying to purposely take pictures of them. Sometimes if you're respectful, or you say you want to show up in a picture, do it. And that's when they've always done it with me. Can you see him, Britt?
Yes, I can see it. I see it.
I mean, when you really look at it, when you know what you're looking at, it's as clear as a bell. I mean, there's just no denying it.
Brian, do you have the picture with the face where you could see one of their faces? I don't know if that was one cloaked or like it looked to me like it was an actual, like a physical face. Not the one that you just pulled up, Chad.
The one on the rock?
No, I know which one he's talking about. I gotta find it here.
Accidentally pulled up, yeah.
I accidentally pulled that one.
The one in the rock's amazing. You got to get that one.
No, Chad, not the one.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
The one that's behind
go
the
ahead.
stump.
Which one do you want to say?
I was going to say there was one where I remember you showed it to me and it looked like I could see like a physical face. That's an awesome picture, though.
That's actually my friend Randy Brusson. That's my I didn't take this picture. That's but that is in my area where I
Oh, yeah,
my
this is it.
gatherings every year. That's it. That's one actually popping up from behind the stump. You can see his head.
Yeah, that
Might
one
even
gives
be
me
like
chills.
he has his hand up or something.
That is crazy. That gives me chills right there.
That's
Mhm.
totally a face.
That's
He
he's
looks like he's
about
got a bowl cut.
he's a young guy. Well, we figured out he was about 7 feet tall because I went and stood behind that stump, and I'm 6'4", and you could just barely see the top of my head. And,
So do these things have like human
and
lives? They have. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
no, hold your question. I just want to. Oh, I'm bossy on this show. I was
Oh,
just
you're
going to
fine.
say that
No, it's okay.
not only could you just see the top of my head was about half the size of this head. So
Oh.
way bigger individual than me.
How tall do you think he is right there?
About 7 feet. He's a juvenile, but like my clan leader is like over 12 feet. So
Yeah, he looks pretty young in the face.
he is.
Can
So
you
what was your
zoom?
question?
Oh, I was gonna say, do they have like humanly lives? Do they live same emotions we have, same day to day? They have the family bond, things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're all
I'm not
pretty
saying
much.
I don't think they care about some of this trivial, stupid stuff we care about, and they're not judgmental and and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, they have families and
So they
lives,
have
and
that
do stuff.
animal instinct to not care about the humanly things we care about, but they still have like the human unit.
Well, I wouldn't say they're animal instincts. I think they're more evolved than us. They don't care about judgment and hate and war and
Yeah,
Wow.
that's
That
neat. Yeah, that's
that
totally
doesn't
a
even
face
look.
right there.
Yeah, it's a face, but I was gonna say it does not look like a human face at all, though.
It has
Like I
human
said,
features. It has
Yeah,
human
it has.
characteristics, but not
Well,
totally human.
there's a couple things here. First of all, the guy who took the picture, my friend, my mentor, was my mentor early on. The guy's above, he's above board. I mean, he was not capable of hoaxing it.
Yeah.
And the other thing is like I said, I stood behind that stump, and you could barely see the top of my head if you could even. And that head is twice as big as my head. So that's not a human in a mask.
Yeah. So he's so much bigger than you could even pretend to be. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Now, Chad, can you take your mouth? Is that like his arm? The dark. Go to the right.
Yeah, there's a little bit of them there.
Sorry. Is that like the side of him, right there? Go
Right
down,
here?
like on the other side,
Right here.
right there. Is that like his arm, or is that the tree
No,
right
I don't
there?
think so. He's behind the stump.
Behind the
Okay.
tree. Yeah.
You might see a
Okay.
little bit of him just to the left there.
Right there.
Chad?
Yeah.
No, the other way.
Right here.
That might be a bit of him there, but basically you're just seeing his head.
Yeah, that might be a
That's
little
the-
bit of his shoulder right here. It looks
Yeah,
like maybe.
maybe some of his shoulder, but basically what you're seeing is just his head.
The few videos that I've seen that have really convinced me, they're beasts, huge. Like the ones that I've seen that are like, man, that is straight up a Sasquatch. They are really big beings, like 8 or 9
Absolutely.
feet tall and very beefy, very big.
Yeah, juvenile I hang around with is like
Sure.
10 feet right now.
10 feet
He's
tall.
only a teenager. Big family here.
So he's got some ways to grow. So do you know any of these, or not? Because this one's your friends, or do you know? So the ones that are in the same clan as Ari, you know all of their names and.
Well, the name
Stuff
isn't
like that.
important. It's just what I know what I call them,
You can recognize
and they
them,
connect to me
from
through that name, whether it's their actual name or not, doesn't matter.
right?
But
Yeah,
I mean, I
that's-
call the clan leader Ari.
Yeah.
Fortuna is his son-in-law, basically. Rajasthay is his daughter, and she was the first one that I connected with, and gave me a great big, wide awakening, spiritual awakening. And then there's the little bud. He's like a mischievous teenager kind of guy, and I've actually had rock throwing fights and stuff with him, like little playing and stuff. He likes to play and stuff. So
I know a guy named Ari. He's the cook for us at a Japanese food restaurant.
Oh yeah.
He's a buddy of ours.
yeah.
Yeah, that's the. So when you said that, I was like, it's the second time I've ever heard that name. I've never heard it before. just with my buddy.
Try to see if you can find the one with the rock face in it, because it's Ari's face that he put right in a rock.
Did you send me that the last time or this time?
Well, it's in both probably, but I've got it in this series too. It's a big boulder.
Big boulder. Let's see.
There it is.
Wow, you guys are quicker than I am.
That's Ari's face right in the rock. My wife and I were camping out there for 3 days. We had like raven feather gifts. We had glyphs that they left us. Supernatural stuff. They took pictures off our camera, kind of thing. Like
real pointy nose, staring up.
It's the whole top of the thing is his face. You can see.
Yeah,
you can see everything.
I see exactly what you mean now.
See his cheekbones and his smile is
absolutely. Look, even the nose is perfect. I mean,
the nose is. You see nostrils.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
That's pretty awesome.
That is pretty awesome.
So anybody who tries to tell you that Sasquatch are like monkeys running around in the woods, no.
Don't exist.
No. We're like monkeys.
So there's a whole conspiracy that people go missing because we have so many people that go missing in our national parks. Do you think it has anything to do with them? Because you're saying that they're good beings. So
well, they're human mostly. So I'm not saying they're all good. Some of them don't want to have anything to do with us, but as far as the disappearances go, I'm not sure. But I will say one thing: you ever hear these guys who promote the fear and like? I was chased by a Sasquatch and he wanted to kill me and whatever. Well, guess what?
He would if he wanted to.
If he wanted to kill you, you are dead.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be hard.
So much faster, so much stronger, so much bigger.
You know what I mean? And they can they could come right up behind you and just rip your head off if they wanted to. Cloaked when you wouldn't even see it. So
every real story that I've heard that I'm like interested in when it comes to this, they always say there's like a presence in the air too, like how you say how you can feel them there before you even know they're there.
Absolutely. And early on I used to feel them in my third eye. I get a third eye energy, and then as soon as I would get that, they threw a little rock out or something, or there'd be a sighting or something like that. Or I mean, they're amazing with energy. I've had energy shot right at me, like an energy waves and stuff, and went right through my body and like out the top of my head and stuff.
Do you think they have some kind of qualities or abilities like Bridget here, our medium? Next to me, this way. Like, do you think
psychic abilities?
Yeah, do they have psychic abilities like Bridget? Because she's pretty amazing.
Let me put it this way: with all due respect to Bridget, they're like Tesla, and she's like in kindergarten, and I'm sure that her abilities are great. No, they are way. I'm not an insult, Bridget. They are just so much more advanced than us. Yeah, like they. Yeah, I mean, no. There's no comparison.
So you think that it's a human that's advanced past what we are? Is that what a Sasquatch is to you?
Well, I mean, they're Bridget. That was not an insult.
Oh no, I didn't take it like that.
I'm just saying they are so far above people, and they're like all of that stuff. So you didn't take it like that, right?
Oh no. I know nothing about Sasquatch. So I'm learning. I'm quiet.
So their DNA, the female part, the mitochondrial, and I don't care about the science and whatever behind it, but I know a little bit about it. So the mitochondrial, that's female, right? You guys know? Whatever. I think it is. Anyway, the female part of their DNA is human. The male part is undetermined.
Okay.
So they don't know what it is. There's a lot. They're human in a lot of senses, but there's the male DNA is something off planet or something that we don't know.
Yeah. Did you say you took his information down, Bridget?
I took whose?
Brian.
I did.
You're giving him a reading tonight?
Are you having a reading tonight, Brian?
Sure, it's up to you.
As long as it's going to be good.
Yeah, it will be.
I don't want to hear the bad stuff.
All positive news, right?
Yes.
I only want to hear it good. No, go ahead.
Well,
hey,
were you ready for us yet?
I don't.
Yeah.
Sure. Why not? Anyway, but as you were talking about, things are going to become unhidden. The truth should be told about a lot of different things, whether it be Sasquatch or UFOs or politics or legal, whatever. That's one of the things that with this new, well, it happens 12/4, so today is 12/3. So tomorrow, when Sagittarius goes solar eclipse, and it'll go all the way to the 20th of December, which means that actually Mercury goes into Gemini. So if you tell a Gemini, you tell everybody. They're very communicative. But anyway, you want me to do yours first, Miss Brian?
Well, who else do you have on the
Oh,
docket?
well,
Yeah, do mine if you want.
I prepared everybody's because the last time I was on the show, I had people write me that was upset that I did nothing but Virgos, Leos, and
yeah, we had a lot of Virgos that day.
I have all 12 signs done. Yeah. So anyway, so you have Libra and Gemini, and your sun and your moon, and so that means that you'd make a good writer. So you better get the book done.
Oh, I am a good writer, yeah.
And modest too.
No, but I mean, hey, look, I can't put a barbecue together. I can't I can other than screwing a light bulb in, mechanical stuff, I can't do. I'm an idiot. But creatively, I've got that gift, yeah.
And your Mercury is in Scorpio, which is how you communicate. And Scorpio is that sign that's kind of ruled by Neptune, which makes the metaphysics a good subject for you to write on. The other thing is you have Capricorn and Mars, which really makes for a good writer. Now, with Libra, let me find how this eclipse works for you. I did have you done over here. 1 second, please. Okay, so 12/4 pushing on into the new year. It says new businesses start. The other thing is, check your transportation, that kind of thing. Check your car out. Tires, whatever you need, get it done now. It also talks about having a new audience for what you have to say. So that could be a new book subject, or, if you're selling something, people are listening. It talks about having short trips. If you're a Libra, the third house is emphasized, so that means it'll broaden your vision of the universe, and it will also support you in your endeavors. So the other thing is, all work and no play makes people dull, and so what it's saying is, take care of your own, how do I want to say, make sure that you're having a well-rounded life, because with Mercury going direct in Sagittarius, it makes for a very crazy, hectic schedule for December. The other thing is you're going to be meeting new people that will help you get your book launched. One of the things that the certain configuration is for is that it will bring you in connection with people that can help you get your goals off the floor. And be really careful about negative people. Either with what you're doing now or with anything in your family, make sure that you're watching the toxic people in your life. Librans tend to attract them, and you kind of have to sort them out so they don't kind of give you headaches, that kind of thing. But the other thing is April of 2020, start throwing that book deal out, because contracts come through in that time frame, because Mercury goes direct again. So sounds good. Libra sounds good. So
Well, John Lennon. What more can I say? He's a Libra.
Yep. My favorite people in the world are Libras.
Aw.
Yep.
Uh-oh. Did
Papa
the
Willie.
fella behind you? Sonny, is he a
Papa
Libra?
Willie. He's a Libra.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's
That's why he's
Uncle
one
Bill.
of the best guys going.
Yeah.
Your core number is a 7, though. So sometimes you learn things the hard way with people. And so, how do I want to say? Don't be so like. Make sure you have good boundaries. That's the positive way to put it. Does that make sense?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So.
Well, that wasn't bad news, Brian.
No.
Got through it.
You got through it. And it didn't hurt. Not bad. Not badly. Not badly.
Yep.
So, anyway. But.
So, Brigid, did you want to take... where'd you want to go after that? Did you have anything else prepared?
Totally up to you. Totally up to you. I kind of, like I said, wasn't quite sure where you wanted to go from after that. I'm willing to do readings, or as long as it's not Virgos, Libras, or Leos. I got in trouble for that. And Sonny's the boss, so I'm trying to make people happy. Anyway.
What do you think, Sonny? Want to go to readings, or?
Yeah. We're gonna go to readings.
Take some from the chat. I saw May 30th a few times. Where was that at? May 30th.
Get their reading done.
We've been working Brian for 2 hours, guys.
I'm good, man. My pork and beans show goes 3-4 hours, and they have to say. My partner has to say, okay, enough's enough.
Yeah.
I can go forever. Yeah.
You need Lazarus. You need his year, right? The year he was born.
Lazarus.
Okay, so we got May 30th, Lazarus. We just need you to put in the date there, the year that you were born.
Melissa wants one too. And
she's a lot of Mays tonight. Taurus.
She's a Gemini.
Yeah. Okay.
Aries.
I'm confused.
We can do Melissa first. She said 85, so she's May 23rd, 85.
Okay.
Melissa's first.
Lazarus is 86.
Okay.
Okay. Well, in general, forgive me for shuffling papers, but we had a Libra that kind of got me out of whack here. But Geminis, it's going to be a lucky year for the next 2 years for them. With the Sagittarius solar eclipse, it's going to focus on new beginnings, new businesses, new relationships, new contracts, that kind of things. The one thing Geminis have a hard time being is understood. And so somebody's having a good time. Don't know. Anyway, the one thing Geminis have a hard time being understood, and one thing that's being very focused on is that you get a new tribe in the next 2 years. And, associations breed success because of who you know. Also, finances are going to be picking up, whether it be, the steady Eddie job or businesses on the side. The other thing that is very weird about this is that you, as a Gemini, one of the things that you do is you have a lot of exes, ex-friends, ex-whatevers. Whenever there's an issue, generally they Geminis have a tendency to go, I'm done with you. That's it. I'm done. Don't want any more, whatever. But there's going to be a couple apologies coming forth, resolutions. So, okay, with you being 53085, and I'm looking at the ephemeris, I got to get you in here. Okay, so 3 puts you in opportunities, and with it being okay, I don't know, is this Melissa who I'm talking to?
Yeah,
Is
this
that
is
her name?
Melissa. Yep.
Okay, Melissa, I don't know if it's real estate or you're moving or changes in the home, like reconstruction or whatever, but that's what I see really focused on. Changes in the home. Whatever you do to the home, it will bring you abundance. Changes in the home. Okay, so we got a 5, 3, 1. Okay, got a double 5 there. So the other thing is, if there's projects that you need to finish, do it now. December is going to be extremely busy, not because of holidays, but because of the energy level and the opportunities and like finish old projects, that kind of thing. Let me grab. Here we go. There's a couple of things I want to look at for you. Again, air signs and their transportation. Watch for tires, that kind of thing. And new addition to the family, doesn't have to you have them, can be married into marriages, babies, whatever, changes in family happen this year. Let's see here. 05. Let me real quick. Okay. All right. So that's funny. She's also a Gemini Libra. She is a Taurus moon. So definitely more emphasis on the work part. Also Taurus with Venus. Okay. Aries and Venus. One of the things about Geminis is also when you have Aries and Venus, sometimes our love lives go through ebbs and flows. Just kind of how do I want to say? It might be ebbing and it might be flowing. You just never know. Jupiter is an Aquarius, possible not this year, but 2022, 2023 career changes. That could be a whole different career, or it could be promotion or otherwise. Okay.
All right. You want to go over to another one?
Yeah. Is this the 523 one?
Melissa was 523. Or Lazarus is 530.
Okay.
Sharon is. Actually, let's just go in order here.
Yeah. So 530, 19.
530, 1986 was the Lazarus Project.
Okay.
I wish she put his real name in here, though. What's your real name, Laz? See if he puts that in.
Let's see. I'm going to go through and I'm going to go. So a lot of the same things for him also because he's a Gemini. But one of the things that's going to be a little different for his is where he falls in the chart. 530. Okay. Is he 530, 26?
530, 76. Or 86, I'm sorry.
Okay.
530, 86.
Okay. So, again,
his name is Lawrence.
His name is Lawrence. Okay.
Thank you for that, Laz.
Okay, so one of the things about him that I'm noticing is he has a double Sag and Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune, which means one of the things that's happening is things that we overlook is coming back kind of to like nip us in the bud, like whether it be taxes or whatever. And so, be very detail oriented, but also with Saturn sitting there, possibly, I don't know if he's been out of work or he wants to change his job, but now's the time to get it done. Start looking, getting it done, because the luck runs from February, and not luck, but as in open opportunities are happening from February until June of next year. So 2022. So, okay.
Excellent. Believe it or not, we have another May 30th, 1966.
What? Okay.
His name is Phil.
5/30, 1966. Okay, Phil. All right, 1966, correct?
Yep.
Okay. Okay. All right, 19. That is weird that what is it? Everybody's the same birthday.
I've got a December one for you next, so we'll take it off.
Oh,
May.
thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. And they're all off by like degrees.
Yeah.
Degrees. Ah! Okay, we got another Gemini Libra combination. What the heck? You guys are like freakazoids here. Y'all have the same birthdays and hang out together? Oh my god.
Yep.
That's weird. It's 1966, right?
Yep. 66.
Oh my god. Okay, so it's exactly the same thing as what I said for Gemini. Except for this particular part. Venus definitely Aries, reviewing relationships, kind of like, how do I want to say, making sure that you're with exactly who you want. The Mars in Gemini is definitely, this is the kicker. For his chart, and on the 20th of this month, there'll be all kinds of opportunities, different kind of opportunities to move forward in his career. And with Jupiter in Cancer, it either makes him a writer or in medical. Doesn't mean that you went in that route, but that you would be very well suited for those careers. So, very interesting. This is weird. Maybe I shouldn't have said too loud on the Taurus and the Leo and the Virgo.
All the Taurus are like, hey, I'm here.
Yeah. Anyway, okay. So thank you, Phil, for letting me read you.
Yeah, that was excellent.
Okay.
All right. I promised you a different one, a different month. So we've got lunar eclipse. Lunar, if you feel comfortable putting your name in the chat, just your first name. But lunar is December 9th, 63. 12/9/63.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, exactly. Very, very close.
We're getting there.
Okay, so one of the things with
Lunar's name is Mary.
Mary. Okay. Lunar eclipse.
Thank you, Lunar. Thank you, Mary.
Okay. Okay. With December and having it be right on the eclipse, I'm having trouble finding I had all my notes done. For each
It's okay. I'm the same way. I can't find anything when I need it.
I hate it. I had them all set up and ready to go. Here we go. The lunar eclipse is in your first house. And with the 12/9 and name is Mary.
Yep.
Mary. Okay. It talks about health concerns, self-care, not overworking, working on your sleep cycles, and this is an assignment for her to do. She needs to think about what she was doing 9 years prior to now.
9
Whatever
years.
happened, because Jupiter runs in those cycles, whatever she was doing 9 years prior, think about those projects that she was working on and see where she's at now. And that's where you're like going, well, I like doing this, I don't like doing this. You're kind of getting rid of the things that you don't like and actually going towards a life that's better constructed for her true purpose. I guess that's the best way to put it. Anything that she's had, like an old business or whatever, is a great way to make money. Also, family confrontations are a big deal. With that 9, I would ask her to complete things that she needed to get done in order to move her life forward, whether it be speaking your piece or completing a degree or writing your book, as Brian needs to. But moving forward, definitely completing things is a good thing. The other thing is her finances are going to change. She needs to be very detail oriented, pay things off and don't worry about it, because from now until 2024, it's going to be nothing but opportunities. So, and it's weird because Sagittariuses, I actually have 3 that are kind of close associations. All 3 of them, they don't even have their house up for sale, and somebody offered them money for their house. So just something to think about. So, okay.
Cool. That was a great one. Okay, so that was okay. Let's go to Hardcore Copper. I don't know if he wants to share his first name in the chat, but birthday is January 26th, 79. 1/26/79.
Okay. Well, he's
Hey, Chad, I think Hardcore Copper is HCC from last night.
Oh, okay. HCC.
Dolly Parton.
What's that?
Dolly Parton.
Dolly Parton.
Okay.
Angie. Her name's Angie.
Okay, Angie. Okay.
Thank you, Angie.
All right. So, Angie. All right. So, when an Aquarius, your actual, okay, your actual eclipse is going to fall in your 11th house, and that means 6 to 12 months. There'll be home changes in like you'll have the urge to like improve your home, and it's a good financially lucky time. Stocks will do well. Play the lottery because you've got the lucky planet Jupiter in there. You're going to meet some new people too within that time frame. For you, it has to do with, you know how you meet somebody and they go, "Oh, you'd be great at this job." That's the kind of people that you're going to be meeting. Also, Aquariuses are getting very, very well. They're always metaphysically oriented, but this, especially now going into the age of Aquarius, is So I see nothing but good things. And if I could look at her birthday just one more time, 19, 6. She's a 88, and so things kind of move for her fated wise. She probably feels like her life kind of happens like, life happens to her instead of her happening to life. Well, now she gets to switch it, where she needs to start thinking about what she really wants to do with her life and move her life forward that way by making little choices as she goes. Okay. So, there you go.
Cool. We're just flying right through them. Next is William. August 25th, 1977.
He's a Virgo. Okay. 7, 1, 14, 6. Okay. All right. Now, unfortunately, because he is sort of in the middle of the month, guess what I got to do? You're going to look at my hair part for a minute.
That's okay.
Sorry.
No, that's fine.
Um,
Just taking in some more dates here. What's up?
We're gonna. Cap wants one too. Cap's here. Amanda's
excellent.
husband.
Off screen though, he just wants me to give the birthday and everything, and then you
Okay.
to do one for him, Bridget.
okay. Off screen, like. Okay.
Well, he's off screen. He's here. He's listening to
okay.
you, but
Okay.
he doesn't want to be.
No, that's totally fine. I try to make sure I don't say anything that you want disclosed of, Day 25. Oh my gosh. Okay. Okay. So I have 1977, 25th day, 8th month. Okay, so you're a Virgo. So he has Virgo and Capricorn, which again, anytime you have Capricorn and an Earth sign or a Libra, you are a good writer. It also talks about Mercury in Virgo, which means you're a good communicator. You're ruled by and Mars in Gemini. Okay, one of the things I will say, and I will not expand upon this, but sometimes when you have Mars in Gemini, you don't pick a good partner. Or you pick a partner because they're like hot in bed, but not smart or kind, or they're kind and, to get the whole package, you got to really work on that. Jupiter in Cancer and Saturn in Leo, it would have you managing either some sort of a business, something in the configuration would point you towards healthcare or healing or counseling or whatever. But so for right now, the interesting thing with Virgo is it's happening in your 4th house, and big changes in everything from finances for the positive. Also, you might be thinking about childhood issues and resolving those. Might think about buying property. And making those goals. Now's the time to do it, to make those goals, because with December coming around and the 20th being Gemini, things move forward very quickly. So there's going to be either some sort of property or something that you can purchase, some sort of way of having an extra income. But it's by physical means. Does that make sense? Okay. All right. You're a 7. Sometimes you learn the hard way. And Virgos are kind of kind, wonderful human beings. And sometimes when they have 6 sitting there, sometimes mom and dad didn't always say the most kindest things to them, and so think about trying to put any type of negativity that you have in your brain or how you function. I won't do that affects your self-confidence. Try to fix that in the next 6 months. So
He said that was a very accurate reading and like the advice you recommend.
oh, well, thank you.
That was cool.
Okay.
So
All
Black
right.
Dragon, I don't think he shared his first name with us, but his birthday is December 30th, 1969. It was a good year.
1969.
Black Dragon, if you feel comfortable putting your first name, I don't know if you typed it in here or not, but you don't have to, but just throwing that out there.
We need a Capricorn.
Black Dragon's a vet, I believe. Thank you for your
Yes, he
service.
is. He's our Marine.
Oh, really? That's awesome. Yeah, thank you for your service, Black Dragon.
Okay. All right. So this eclipse is happening in your 12th house, and it's how Earth signs. I know I'll get flack from other people, but Earth signs generally don't come into this life with like an amazing intuition. They're usually empathic. They can go by people and they can help calm people down, but intuition as in airy, pick up just a strange picture, that's not usually their ability. But with Capricorn having the 12th house and the eclipse season, Capricorns will start having a higher intuition, start following your gut. The other thing is a lot of them will have the desire to get their finances under control and to make their success go another level. Be careful not to overspend now. Wait until after the 6-month period before you make any large purchases. And then the other thing is, Capricorns tend to be workhorses or like workaholics. I don't know how else to say. And it's time that take a break. Make sure that that's you're taking care of you. And now this is the interesting thing is that it's like all the Capricorns I know, whether they're in midlife or not, are having a midlife crisis. They're trying to figure out what exactly do I want to do when I grow up. And so start thinking about that and writing it down. So the other thing is clutter. With Capricorns, you want to get rid of your clutter in your house, in your brain. Start writing things down instead of forgetting them. The other thing is getting rid of toxic people in your life. And then the other thing is once you start kind of letting some of this stuff go, kind of your true light shines, and there's a promotion that is pegged on the way, or an increase in pay, or a new job, or whatever. But usually Capricorns do very well with this type of configuration. With him or her being a 30, one of the things is opportunities come in threes. So if you get offered a new job, don't take it the first time. Don't take the first one if you got a little inkling that it's not exactly what you want. You want to try the next two. Let's see here. One. And sometimes you need to listen to your gut most of the time, because in this kind of aspect you learn the hard way about people and opportunities and new situations in life. So is there any direct questions that this person has?
Nope, not so far.
Okay.
Cool.
Right.
That was for you,
got
Black
anybody
Dragon.
else? You got anybody else lined up right now?
There's one more, and then Cap is also in line.
Okay.
Why you want to go, Josh?
Well, I mean, she did mine like a month ago or so, so I don't know if it would be the same thing or not. I was actually going to ask about. You guys know I have a very young family member who just started having some weird paranormal experiences, but she's only like 17, so I don't know if the same thing would apply to her.
What's your
Well,
birthday,
go ahead. Mine's September 14th, 1991. You did mine about a month ago, though. And it was pretty spot on. 91. Yes, 1991. September 14th.
Okay.
I gotta put that in my calendar so I know when to get you a birthday present.
Oh, okay. The other thing is with you, Josh, is with Virgos especially, it's happening in your 4th house. And so one of the things when we become more psychic or more sensitive, we start letting go of the stuff in the past. So any issues that you had in the past, you need to start thinking of it as it's not my fault. It was somebody else's garbage. They just projected it on me, not to get personal, but and then when you're moving forward, think about what am I doing for my own agenda? That means agenda, everybody uses that as a negative thing, but everybody has a talent. 2 artists can be in the same room, right? And they'll draw a picture and they both have that as their purpose, but the picture will be just as beautiful, but just very different. And so with that, you need to think, what is my contribution to the world? And everybody has one. They're right down to people who are homeless. They have a purpose here. Everybody gets knocked down. Everybody, has strife in their life, but it's what you do when you get back up. What is the first thing? What is it that your gut is telling you you're here to do? Does that make sense?
Yeah, actually, it's crazy. I've been doing really good at getting letting go of baggage from my past. But I want to say real quick, I was just talking to somebody a few hours ago about how I think that we're all like fractals of the universe. That's just something that I say. And I was telling this person, they were saying they didn't have any talents. A friend of mine I was talking to, and I told him, like, I think anything that you do that you're passionate about and that gives you drive, that can be an art. If you just your perspective on the way. So I mean, just you saying that was kind of crazy. But yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, the next one.
Cap, go next.
Cap's ready. If you want to do that, Brigid. Sorry.
Yeah, we can go Cap next.
Cap's 21884. Adam. Sorry. First name Adam, 21884. Pisces or Aquarius Pisces.
Aquarius, yeah. Okay, so he's kind of on the cusp, depending on what his exact time of birth. So
we're not sure on that.
Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull out 2 different things already. And
listen.
So anyway, the eclipse puts him in his 11th house. So that's emphasized, as well as his 10th house if he sits on the cusp. And with him in the 18th, it's weird. I'd love to know the time of his birth. He's welcome to catch up with me whenever so I can do a more accurate read. But for the sake of a podcast and nobody wants to see my hair.
He says it's around 6 a.m.
Oh, okay. We'll put it in there. Okay. All right. So 1 second. Okay. 1984 month is 02. Hey, at least we're not Virgos and Tauruses and stuff. Nothing against Virgo.
Virgo moon.
So 6 a.m. Okay. All right, here we go. All right, so he's an Aquarius. He has a lot of, Adam. He has a lot of very intense signs. So he's got his Aquarius and Virgo moon. He has Aquarius in the sun. And so he would be very geared to this kind of study. The other metaphysical studies. The other thing is his Mercury is an Aquarius. So in the old way of thinking is that he would, those that used to have Mercury in Aquarius used to have magical powers to write things. It's like an old astrological kind of myth. But also any type of writing would be good for him. I hope no one was harmed in that. It was like thump thump. Are we okay? Any crimes committed? Are we good?
Everybody all right?
Yeah, everybody okay? Anyway, his Mars is in Scorpio, and this is an Adam, so I don't want to. His pronoun is his or hers or whatever, but no matter who your partner is, sometimes you get hooked on people that aren't good for you. And so moving forward, make sure you can dance in a relationship and have it benefit you also. Let's see, Mars is Scorpio, Jupiter, Capricorn. We have a lot of writers here. Got Capricorn sitting there. With his birth date, it's a 9, and so I'm going to urge him to complete things. The other thing is, if complete things, don't leave your home undone. Like if it's like you need construction done or whatever. The other thing is anything emotionally from home, make sure that that's all taken care of. You know, whether you have mother issues, father issues, whatever, take care of it to kind of move your life forward. With him, this eclipse is emphasizing his 11th house. And that means you have 6 to 12 months to kind of have the wind in your sails, so to speak. You're going to have a positive change in finances. A lot of air signs are. There you go. It's one of the things, it's the luckiest placement. Play the lottery. Sever your ties with negative people. Just do not put up with it. No negative people. In fact, you're going to probably have a new tribe. You're probably going to meet lots of new people. And Aquarians are very known for the metaphysical community and being a, you know, like part of it. So, okay. All right.
All right. We got one more on my list.
Okay. Let me clear the decks.
We've got Sharon Fulmer. Sharon is 8/12/80.
Bridget, do you know that? Brigid, do you know that that was my husband?
No, I did not.
Yeah. Makes a lot of sense.
8/12. I'm sorry.
8/12/1980.
Okay. Let's see. 1, okay. 3, 8. Okay. 1 second. I'm gonna get. Okay. We're gonna go back here. Okay. 1980 month.
What's going on over there, Giggles? I see you laughing, Chad.
You see the chat?
Over here.
Okay, let me see. I'm missing it.
Oh, I see nothing. Let's see. Lunar eclipse and
No, everyone was saying every time somebody had a question, I'd put their answer in the chat. They'd say, "Thanks, Sonny." I'm like, "It's not Sonny, it's Chad. This is Chad Smith."
Okay. So we're talking about, what's this person's name?
This is Sharon.
Sharon. Okay. So Leo and Virgo. Okay. This is kind of a weird configuration because it not only Leos have got to watch their how do I want to say, back, like not in a metaphysical sense like someone's talking smack or whatever, but like it is a health concern for Leos. It talks about it. The eclipse happens in the 5th house, and so any creative projects moving forward, new businesses, house, children, promotions, old hobbies, take an interest in them because they'll probably make you money. How do I want to? The other thing about this, if you're of the age of having children, be careful. I'm just saying because it is a very prosperous sign, abundant. If you're self-employed, it says, and you have an opportunity to work with children, go for it. If you have any issues with your current employer, it's talking about that you need to be more finish things, that kind of thing. Make sure you're more detail oriented. And self-improvement, things about your health, whether it be a good like diet or exercise or whatever. With a 3 there and a 9, it's saying the world is your oyster. You'll have all kinds of opportunities if you finish projects, degrees, house, whatever. Anyway, so.
Excellent. Well, that's the last one I had on my list, and it's perfect timing. We got a couple minutes left before we have to take off here. What do you got, Sonny? You wanna promote anybody else while we're here, or? I threw Spaced Out Radio in the chat, so that's where everybody's gonna go after our show is Spaced Out Radio. Yeah. But
he's got 3 minutes left.
We've got.
Watch Dave chill.
The Chad Smith podcast is on Tuesday and Thursday, 8 o'clock in the morning. On Tuesday, I've got Gemma Jade, who was on here earlier.
Is that 8 Eastern time?
8 o'clock Eastern. Yep. 6 o'clock Pacific in the morning. Or no, 5 in the morning. On the Pacific side. Then Paranormal Chop Shop again. We'll be here again next Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. Who do we have next week?
I think it's Dan Aykroyd.
No.
Oh, Dan Aykroyd? That'll be a good one.
Yeah, I got a hold old Danny boy there. He's going to come on the show. And
Hey, Dan Aykroyd.
That's hilarious.
We're trying. Dan, if you're listening, buddy,
come on, Dan Aykroyd. We're a good show here. You'll fit in just
some
fine.
of that crystal skull vodka, is that or whatever it is.
Yep, bring some Crystal Skull with you. Yep. Huh? Callahan brake pan.
Brian, you want to tell everyone once again where they can find you and see you?
Want to join the Pork and Beans group on Facebook? That's where we do our show. We do it live off of there, and it's an open group. So anybody want to join that, you're welcome to. And if you want to check out my videos, I've got over 300 videos now. Some of them are the Pork and Beans show, but I also do like my own little videos where I go out and film stuff and I find and talk about it and stuff. And that's on Sasquatch BC, The True Story. And that's on YouTube.
Excellent. We'll definitely send people over there.
Good stuff, man. Thank you for joining us tonight.
My pleasure.
Nice meeting you.
Yeah, thanks, Brian.
Yeah.
Really appreciate your time, man.
Yeah, and Brian's interviewed Brian's had Barbara Jean Lindsay and Preston Dennett and some others on his channel. There's some pretty good interviews. Others I can't remember right now.
I had Joshua Casey on there too. He was good.
That's right.
Yeah.
That Joshua Casey guy.
That was an awesome interview.
All right, guys. Well, we're going to take off, and we'll see you over on Spaced Out Radio with our Keith
Bye,
Andrews
everybody.
and Dave Scott.
That's right.
Hey, you guys
We'll see you guys
Hey.
Tuesday on Chad's show. Tuesday morning.
Tuesday morning with
Bye,
Gemma
guys.
Jade. Thanks, everybody.
See you all over at SOR.
That's right. SOR in 1 minute. We'll see you guys.
1 minute.
I'm gonna go get some food.